And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Covert versus Mittman step forward.
Richard Covert is suing Ann Mittman for money owed for a restaurant she purchased from him.
Mr. Covert, I don't think that there's an issue about a couple of things. You had a restaurant business. You sold that restaurant business to the defendant. You sold her that business in 2016.
December.
And you had an agreement with her for a payout. How much was the agreed upon purchase price for the restaurant?
A total of $81,600.
When had you purchased the restaurant?
I purchased it in December of 2010.
And how long did you run it?
For 6 years, exactly.
How much had you paid for it?
$235,000.
Who did you purchase it from?
I purchased it from Sandy and Rita. They started the business in 1988.
Did you pay them the $235,000?
Yes, I did.
Outright?
I paid about $200,000 of it up front, and then I had a year to pay off the balance.
$35,000.
Yes.
Okay, and you kept it and made a living at it, I assume, for 6 years. Decided to sell it and sold it at quite a loss.
I did.
So business must have been dying down.
Well, I overpaid.
Business must have been dying down.
It wasn't dying down, actually. I overpaid for the business.
Well, doesn't make you a great businessman if you overpaid for the business.
That's not true.
Shh. I didn't ask you anything.
Okay. Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You went out of business because you were bad at the restaurant business. Stop making excuses as to why you violated the contract.
May I speak?
You could speak, but I read your answer, and your answer is stupid.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Richard Covert is suing Ann Mittman for money owed for a restaurant she purchased from him.
Now, you had a contract with him to pay $81,600.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and making payments. He was supposed to make payments to him.
That's correct.
In what amount and how often?
$925 a month.
Until it was paid off. How much did you pay in total?
Paid $15,000 down out of escrow. May I explain that?
No, I just want you to... This is a very simple case. I don't have to make it complicated. You paid $15,000 down, and how much did you pay towards the $81,600 purchase price?
I don't have that total. I started paying him in January of 2017.
Do you have the total, Mr. Covert?
She paid me $925 a month for... No, I don't. I don't have
Well, somebody get me a total.
I can get it. $20,350.
How much did she pay you?
Total with the $15,000 down, approximately $32,000.
And what number do you have?
Well, I had less, but...
You'll take the 32?
Yes.
Great. Then why are you here, Mr. Mittman? Because the maximum that I can award you is $5,000, and based upon what you tell me, you're owed $50,000.
I am.
Well, why would you come here?
Because she doesn't have any more money, and I'd rather get something than nothing. I spoke to an attorney. The attorney said I could probably receive a judgment, but electing on that judgment would be, virtually impossible. She doesn't necessarily have to pay it, and I could put a lien on her home, wait until she sells her home. I just want this behind me. This has been a nightmare.
Okay.
May I speak?
You could speak, but I read your answer, and your answer is stupid.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Your answer says that back in 2016, when you bought the restaurant, and the restaurant didn't go out of business until what year?
But I can tell you why.
What year did the restaurant go out of business?
January 2019.
Your answer says that because he owed back taxes, you couldn't get a liquor license for 2 months in 2016. That's not a reason.
There are other reasons.
Just a second. That's not a reason. The reason is, and not make excuses, the reason is your restaurant didn't make it. Like 90% of restaurants that open and close, maybe you didn't have a great chef, maybe you weren't a good restaurateur, but you had the business for 3 years.
I had it for almost 2 years.
It went out of business. It didn't go out of business because of him. It went out of business because of the business or because of you. and you have to pay him. You had a contract to pay him.
May I explain something?
30 seconds.
Okay.
Don't waste my time.
I spent $17,000 in equipment that was no
I don't
good.
care. I don't care. Then you sue him. You went out of business because you were bad at the restaurant business, or the public didn't embrace your business. Stop making excuses as to why you violated the contract.
He breached the contract.
No, he didn't. Judgment for the
didn't pay-
plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He didn't pay his bills off in 180 days like he was supposed to.
No, that's an absolute lie.
I also got levied from the state for employees that he hadn't paid.
There was absolutely no reason to shut that business down.
If we'd gone through escrow like he knew we should,
She shut it down for a period of 2 or 3 months,
none of this would have happened. I would have never bought the restaurant.
and that was the beginning of the end of that restaurant.
Oh, it's closed.
Gave them a no-interest loan, trying to help them. It was their dream to own a restaurant, and these are the thanks you get.
An employee forced out
You didn't work for him very long.
No, I did not.
after the boss forced himself on her.
She put on social media that I fire women who don't take my sexual advances.
I take allegations of sexual harassment seriously. Be real careful with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Mr. Ben Israel make sexual advances to you?
Yes.
I want you to know something. I'm a truth machine.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Elena Menz is suing her former employer, Bartholomew Ben Israel, for unpaid wages.
Order. All rise. This is case number 20 on the calendar in the matter of Menz versus Ben Israel.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
This means the defendant has a house cleaning service
Yes.
company. And according to your complaint, you were an employee of his for some time.
Yes.
You worked at an hourly wage.
Yes.
At some point, you asked him for a raise,
Yes.
which he reluctantly gave you.
Not
But
true.
according to both of you, because I've read your answer, one of the things that you said to her was, don't tell any of the other employees because I'm giving you a raise, but I'm not necessarily raising their hourly rate. Would that be a fair statement of what I read in your answer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that would be a yes. I'm giving you a raise. Don't tell anybody else.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I'm going to start with you, Mr. Ben Israel. First of all, you have a counterclaim.
Yeah.
Because she says you owe her wages, that you fired her. And when you fired her, there was an outstanding bill that you had for her hourly wage. What your service does, if I'm not mistaken, is you have clients.
Yep.
And your clients hire your company to provide people to clean their homes.
Correct.
Let's say you charge your clients $25 an hour.
Right.
You pay your employees $15 an hour. You make $10 an hour.
Right.
Your counterclaim is twofold in her request for her last paycheck. One, you say she has some of your cleaning equipment.
Correct.
Now, I'm not an idiot, and this is not show and tell. I assume that's his cleaning stuff.
That is.
Officer Byrd, would you, before you get to 6 across, would you take this and send it over
It's
to the
also the
defendant?
uniform.
Just a second. He's sending it. Thank you. I thought that was funny, Bert.
It was hilarious. It was 6 down.
Now you have Mr. Ben Israel. That's what she has that belongs to you. The second part of your complaint is that you, just a second. The second part of your complaint is that you lost a customer. And the customer that you lost was a customer that Miss Menz had been working for. And she canceled her service with you after you fired Miss Menz. So another part of your counterclaim is for slander and loss of business.
Yeah.
Do you have that person with you? The answer is yes or no.
Do I have what person?
The person who fired you.
No, I do not.
Well, so that you have no cause of action for slander.
I have an email associated with her
Firing you?
Yeah, the client not wanting to hire.
I would like, just a second, even though it's hearsay, I'm going to read it and see whether I think there's anything slanderous, like you have a sexually transmitted disease or you are a pedophile or something, or whether she's just saying he's a dishonest businessman who didn't pay me my last week's salary check. Okay.
Now, that's from a client.
You mean the email part where she says that the plaintiff said that you were refusing to pay her overtime, so she's no longer working for Pure Clean? Is that the email that you... Just a second. Yeah. I want to be clear. Yeah. This is what you say is slander.
Well, her conversation with that client about a statement that was not true is essentially why we got fired. So she
Just a second. What does essentially not true mean?
Okay, it's not true.
What's not true?
The statement of her not getting paid overtime. By the state of Minnesota, she wasn't even entitled to overtime.
Just a second. That's not slander. So your counterclaim's now dismissed.
But she...
Listen to my words. This didn't say we're firing your firm, Mr. Ben Israel, because the person who's operating the firm is a pedophile. He's a thief. He employs underage children. Didn't say any of those things that are illegal or anything gross, right? She said she had a salary dispute with you because you were refusing to pay her overtime. And the question about whether she was entitled to overtime is a question of fact. So she's allowed to say to the people that she was working for, I got fired because I asked for overtime and he refused to pay me overtime and therefore he fired me. She's allowed to say that. So what I'm telling you is you have no case against her.
Okay.
Period. Now I'm moving forward, Mr. Ben Israel.
It wasn't, according to the state of Minnesota.
I don't care whether
I told
it's
her
according
that she knew
to the Gospel of St. Paul. It doesn't matter. It's not slander. Do you get it?
No, I don't. Can you
well,
please
then
give me
go to law school. I'm telling you, it's not slander. Now, let's get to whether or not you owe her any money. How long did you work for him?
I worked for him about right after Christmas. I got hired.
Christmas of 2017?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't work for him very long?
No, I did not.
Okay. The period of time for which you claim you were not paid is from when to when?
Okay, so 3/12/18 to 3/16.
3/12 through
my last day of 4/19. So he was short on multiple pay periods. So I didn't get paid for the very last
Just a second.
check at all.
All I want to know is when you didn't get paid at all.
Okay.
I'm not interested in short.
So
do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not
so
interested
my
in short
last
because you did
I'm sorry.
Because you did in fact go back to work even though you were short $12, $8, $16. I'm not adding up those numbers. I want to know when he didn't pay you, from when to when.
Okay, it's 4/9 all the way to 4/19.
And you were paid by check?
Yes, personal check.
Personal check?
Yes.
Why do you pay with a personal check if you're a company, Mr. Ben Israel?
She get paid with a company check.
Well, let me see a copy of the check.
I don't have my checkbook with me.
I have copies of
Just
checks.
a second. Why wouldn't you bring that?
Why would I not bring my
Why
business
wouldn't
checkbook?
you? Yeah, if you're coming here today and the dispute is over salary, why wouldn't you bring your checkbook?
Because I had no intent to write a check, but it's her burden. She's supposed to prove that I didn't write a check.
This is evidence. We're not talking about burden. I wasn't asking you to write a check. I was asking you to show me that you paid her from 4/9 to 4/19.
So
not so. I want you to show me that you paid her. That would require your check. She can't show me.
She's supposed to be disputing overtime.
No, I'm not talking about overtime.
That's her claim.
No. Listen to me.
That's her claim.
No, listen to me carefully, sir. She says she worked from 4/9 to 4/19.
Yeah.
And she wasn't paid. I haven't discussed the hourly yet. She can't show me what she doesn't have. You can show me that she was paid from 4/9 to 4/19. And that would require you showing me your checkbook or a copy of a canceled check. Do you understand?
This is her copy of her timesheet. And that's
all
what
right,
I
now
paid her
then
for.
let's go to her timesheet.
There you go.
Did she work on 4/9?
Yes, she did.
Did she work on 4/10?
Yep.
4/11?
Yes.
When was the next day she worked?
The 12th.
When was the next day she worked?
The 13th.
And when was the next day she worked?
The 16th.
When was the next day she worked?
The 17th.
When was the next day she worked?
The 18th.
Did she work on the 19th?
Yes.
Okay, she did not work thereafter. Thereafter,
No.
you let her go. Fine. Now, you can show me proof. We're not getting to the amount. Show me proof that you paid her from 4/9 to 4/19. She can't show me what she doesn't have. If you didn't pay her, she can't show me a copy of a check.
Right.
You can show me your checkbook.
So for this pay period, she did not receive her check.
Okay, great. Then.
Because she had a...
Just a second. So for this pay period, for all those days, she did not receive her check. And what did you agree to pay her? Just listen to me. When you gave her a raise, what did you agree to pay her? How much an hour?
14.
That is correct. And
that's all I want to know.
Yes.
$14 per hour. How many hours did you work between 4/9 and 4/19? Just what I love. A case that ultimately involves math.
73.45.
74 hours times.
So part of those hours were deep
equals $1,036.
So with deep cleans, we get $15 an hour. So part of those hours are at $15 an hour.
That's not true.
Look, just a second. Take a look at your thing. Your thing must show you how many hours were deep clean.
Yeah, she didn't get any extra pay for deep clean.
Just a second. Show me something, Miss Menz, and I'm getting very bored with this case already. We're at the board line. Show me something in writing that says that you get an extra $1 an hour for deep clean.
So I don't have that.
Just a second. If you say I don't have it, just say I don't have it. I told you I'm getting bored with this already. $1,036 judgment for the plaintiff.
But our text messages.
We didn't go over the defamation of character.
Just a second. Our text
messages show that I have it says deep clean today.
Pay careful attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I asked you to show me something that says that you get paid extra for deep clean. Do you have it or do you not?
I have statements saying deep clean, but it doesn't say $1 more. But on
just a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's it. The answer is no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Tell me what she said on social media.
She put on social media that I fire women who don't take my sexual advances, and I...
Oh, different story. Oh, that's a different story. Now we're talking business.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Elena Menz says her former employer, Bartholomew Ben Israel, owes for wages as a professional cleaner. Bartholomew is countersuing for equipment, loss of clientele, and slander.
Now, I handled your case for slander. I asked you to show me evidence
you
of
spoke
slander.
Specifically about the client, not about social media and her defaming.
What did she say? Just a second. Tell me what she said on social media.
She put on social media that I fire women who don't take my sexual advances, and I...
Oh, different story. Oh, that's a different story. Now we're talking business. Can I see what she wrote to you about on social media? Because if you said that, and if you don't have proof of that, you're going to prove. Just a second. If you have proof, great. Then
I'm a witness
then he's going to be
sexual advances.
Don't say a word.
I have.
I want to see the sexual.
Post.
That part of the defamation. Hold it. Okay. Now, Miss Menz.
Yes.
I want you to be very careful with me.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for my evidence as well.
What do you mean looking for your evidence? Where did you think you were coming today?
Oh, no, I'm bringing it up on the phone. I'm sorry.
Just a second. All I want to know is, did Mr. Ben... Look at me.
Okay.
Did Mr. Ben Israel make sexual advances to you?
Yes.
When?
We went out on a meeting.
Look, I want you to know something. I'm a truth machine.
Yes. We went to dinner like the first couple of weeks I was working there.
Just a second. You went to dinner.
With another employee. We were celebrating.
Oh, just a second. Be real careful with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Within the first couple of weeks you were working there, you went to dinner with the defendant, with another employee. Another female.
Yes.
Female employee. So the three of you went out for dinner.
Yes.
We all were invited, Your Honor.
Now you can put her out.
That's my witness.
It's your witness when you call her. Right now, she is an annoyance to me because she shouts out. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, you and one other female employee went out for dinner.
Yes, before she worked there.
And
so we had dinner, and he was having a few drinks.
Make sure you tell me the truth, because
Yes.
then I'm going to question you about why you stayed.
Okay.
So keep going.
So we were having dinner. He had a few drinks, and like he was just kind of, uncomfortably touching me, and I thought it was just because he was drinking, brushing.
You mean like this?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, like like he was getting
Just a second. And
he was just
a second.
And he was feeling good, just drinking.
Just a second. And
that's it.
Well, so then he never sexually harassed you. I don't care how you felt. Do you understand?
Yes,
Because however you felt at that moment, you continued to work for him, and I guarantee you that you had a drink too at dinner.
Actually, I did not. I had a pop.
Yeah. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I take allegations of sexual harassment seriously, so I resent because it diminishes
he sent pictures
real
too.
sexual harassment when you have somebody that's got another agenda like you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Elena Menz has accused former employer Bartholomew Ben Israel of withholding her wages as a professional cleaner. Bartholomew has a countersuit claiming Elena falsely accused him of sexual harassment.
Now, I take allegations of sexual harassment seriously.
Yes.
And I think anyone who has been the victim of sexual harassment in a workplace deserves to be compensated.
Yes.
Listen to me carefully.
I understand.
So I resent because it diminishes
he sent pictures
real
too.
Sexual harassment when you have somebody that's got another agenda like you.
I don't have another agenda.
Just
He
a
sent
second.
me pictures.
Just a second. I said, were you ever sexually harassed by him? That's
At that
the story
time, no.
you told me.
And then I'm moving on to the further.
Then tell me.
Okay,
then
so
tell me the
when
next.
I was working with...
I don't want to hear you. You complained about something.
Okay.
Listen to me.
You
complained about something unless you want to withdraw your counterclaim.
Okay.
Look at me. Unless you want to withdraw your counterclaim, I'm going to hear whatever other evidence she has.
Perfect.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, I want you to tell me what other things he did to you to sexual harass you.
So he sent... I don't have it because I erased it.
Well, don't tell me what you don't have.
Okay.
Don't tell me what you don't have. Tell me what you have.
I have inappropriate pictures that he sent.
That he sent to you?
Yes.
I'd like to see them. Don't say anything. Why is this an inappropriate picture?
I mean, why would you send a
Just a second.
shirtless picture to an employee?
I mean, I just want to know why it's an inappropriate picture, because maybe he's a schmuck. I don't understand.
Guess, I mean, to me, it was inappropriate.
Maybe. But this isn't an inappropriate picture. It's a picture of him.
Those were taken off my Instagram, my Facebook page. And
just a second. Is this on your...
I help people lose weight.
Just a second. I don't think this is an inappropriate picture. I would think that it's listen to me. I would think that it's inappropriate behavior and stupid to send this to an employee.
I agree.
As I would agree that this is inappropriate and stupid to send to an employee. If what you are telling me, Mr. Ben Israel, is that this came off of your Facebook page and she says that you sent it to her.
No, you
Just a second. If she's telling me that this was sent to her and you can establish to me that she took this off your Facebook page, I'm granting your request because I see she's got no other evidence there.
I'm not even on his Facebook page.
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
Just a second. Show me how he sent it to you. Because now we're in checkmate. Now we're in checkmate.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You show me where he sent these pictures to you? Because you would agree, Mr. Ben Israel, that this would be inappropriate to send to an employee.
Definitely, I would, yeah.
So it's saved into my photo drive because your photos automatically saved because I erased those pictures.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Okay.
You know what, Miss Menz, that's going to cost you? $1,036. That's what that's going to cost you.
Okay.
Posting that thing, accusing him of sexual harassment, and then lying to me.
I'm not lying, but
telling me.
I'm
well,
not
now
lying.
he's going to show me where it's on his Facebook page. Bird, may I get that, please?
I think you guys got bad Wi-Fi here.
We don't have anything bad here.
I'm just waiting for it to load, but these are screenshots that she sent to herself, and then she showed it to her a friend, which was an employee that worked for us, and she sent it to me to show what she was posting. So she went to my page, took the pictures off, and then sent it to herself as if I'm sending her messages.
You mean setting up this case? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what she did. That's exactly what she did. It's going to cost her $1,036.
Thank you.
You don't have to pay her anything. What she said was outrageous. It's going to cost her her money, and she owes you an apology.
Yeah. Thank you.
Got it? We're done.
Parties are excused. They step out.
Excuse me, Your Honor. So is there a counterclaim?
Yes, I'm giving you $1,036.
Okay, but not the $5,000.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's obvious that the lady was lying. She intentionally went out there to try to destroy my character. I did nothing to that girl but try to help her.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
It's the cost of doing business.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Tucker versus Lamoureux. Step forward.
Jennifer Tucker is suing her ex-boyfriend, Michael Lamoureux, for loans she made to him when he was going through a hard time.
Miss Tucker, when were you and Mr. Lamoureux in a relationship?
Our relationship began in June of 2016.
And ended?
September 2017.
What money do you think he owes you?
He owes me money for, there was a time in his life where he was very, very broke. He wasn't working. He was waiting for retirement money from the state of Connecticut. He was waiting for approximately $29,000 to come in.
What was that time?
On June 16th. 2016.
June 16th, that's when you first started
Correct.
To have a relationship. Now, were you living together?
No.
Did you ever live together?
No.
Did you ever live in his house?
I stayed overnight at his house.
How often?
Several times a week.
How many is several?
I would go home maybe 2 nights a week.
So you stayed at his house the majority of the week?
Majority.
Right. From when to when did you stay at his house the majority of the week?
It was starting in September.
September of 2016. When did you stop staying at his house 5 nights a week?
Well, he left abruptly. He left to go to Hawaii for 3 months. Mm-hmm. He left me in charge of his house, his children, his pets.
So, you know, Miss Tucker, I'm not believing you. I just have to tell you, from the get-go, I'm not believing you. When you have a failed relationship and you've been living in his house, that's clear. I read the papers. He left for several months. He went to take care of his grandchildren in Hawaii. You were at his house. Now, you have children, correct? And you do not have custody of your children.
I do have custody of my children.
Did you then?
Yes.
Did you have physical custody of your children at the time you were staying at his house 5 nights a week?
I was a nursing student, so
Did you, Miss Tucker?
Yes,
aren't
I
you
did.
fine?
Yes,
didn't.
I did.
You did not. You did not have physical custody when you were staying at his house 5 nights a week. How do I know that? Because I'm going to ask him, and because you said it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
One of her children left a box of chocolates out, and your deceased wife's chihuahua ate the chocolate and died.
Correct.
That's what you want me to listen to?
Yes.
You know, I went to postgraduate school for 7 years.
Millions of people across the country are... Take your kid to work day. My dad's a research analyst. You fill in the blanks. I had to build a diorama of the Jurassic period. I got cast as a fence in the school play. How are your allowance negotiations going? My parents are lowballing me. Thanks, Carla. Well, gotta run. I got scouted straight into Taekwondo. So slammed today. Later.
Milk, because being a kid is tough.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jennifer Tucker is suing her ex-boyfriend, Michael Lamoureux, for loans she made to him when he was going through a hard time.
There was a period of time that what you were doing, his house was a midway point between where your children were and where you were. You would visit with them, and they came, according to what I read in the complaint and answer, you did bring your children to his house on occasion, but the children's physical custody, they did not go to school from where you were living.
That is correct.
All right. Well, that's custody. Where they go to school Monday through Friday, whoever takes care of them Monday through Friday has custody of the children. Physical custody. So between June of 2016 and September of 2017, did you have physical custody of your children?
Yes, I have joint legal custody of my children.
That's not what I
asked
you. Do you understand why I'm not believing you? Do you understand what I'm not believing?
But they go to school in the town of Watertown, Connecticut, where my ex-husband lives.
They live with their father in Connecticut and go to school from their father's house in Connecticut. Does that exist today as well? Yes. So that you have joint legal custody, maybe, I don't know that, but your father has primary physical custody and you have visitation with him, I assume, on weekends.
And oftentimes during the week as well.
Maybe, if you get there. Okay, fine. As long as we understand where it's at. Now, in the time when you were staying at his house 5 nights a week, and then when he went away to Hawaii to take care of his grandchildren, is that the period of time that you say he owes you money for?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And when you were living at his house, how much rent did you pay?
I have my own mortgage, so we never...
That's not what I asked you. When you were living at his house...
I didn't pay any rent.
Well, do you understand where we're going, Ms. Tucker?
I do.
Very good. I'm glad you understand where we're going.
But I feel like I need to explain a little bit more.
You have 3 minutes, and I have a very busy day.
I also have my own mortgage.
Case.
I was paying all of the household bills for his home and my own, taking care of his children and my own, going to
school. You weren't
school.
taking care of your own children.
Yes, I was.
Your children live with their father. He has 2 children. One was 17, one was 20, 2 boys. The
his
20-year-old
youngest was 15 at the time, and we were very close. And
Ms. Tucker, 3 minutes are running out very, very fast. Come on.
I paid every single household bill from June to January.
Good. Great. And you live there?
I did not live there.
Okay. We're done. You have a stupid counterclaim. I'm going to tell you what your stupid counterclaim is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook. And follow us on Twitter.
You have a stupid counterclaim. I'm going to tell you what your stupid counterclaim is. While she was there and her daughter was visiting, according to you, one of her children, who she had for a visit, left a box of chocolates out, and your deceased wife's chihuahua ate the chocolate and died. That's one. And then she was baking cookies another time and left cookies out, and the other chihuahua ate some more chocolate and had to go to the vet.
Correct.
That's what you want me to listen to?
Yes.
You know, I went to postgraduate school for 7 years. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I feel used.
I think she just wants money.
He took whatever he could from me and left. Even the shoes that he's wearing today, I purchased for him.
And I bought these shoes.
And I wanted him to have accountability.
She didn't like the fact that I didn't express my feelings towards her.
He can go home knowing that he has zero integrity.
I never said the ILU.
And zero accountability for his actions.
I dodged a bullet today.
I hope that karma comes back and bites him.
And for the rest of my life.
Oh, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bautista versus Rios. Step forward.
Food deliverer Xandro Batista is suing Katrina Rios for medical bills and lost wages after her dog bit him.
Mr. Batista, according to your complaint, you were delivering food. What kind of food was it that you were delivering?
I think as a burger, like that. I was a delivery of grab food, any food.
What kind of food was
Your
did you
Honor,
order?
I wasn't there. My roommate was there. I was at work.
So you weren't there?
No, this is my dog, so that's why I'm here.
Stand up. What kind of food did you order?
Burger King.
Burger King?
Yeah.
Where is the closest Burger King to where you live?
A few miles, but I don't have a car.
On what date did you order this food?
March 2nd.
And the plaintiff came to your house. You were home alone with that dog?
Yes.
And that is the defendant's dog?
Correct.
You're her roommate?
Yes.
So you have absolutely no idea what happened because you weren't there?
Yes.
Great. and I can get the information from her. So on the 2nd of March, you ordered food, and?
And I asked for the food to be delivered to me and to...
Of course, you gave him your address, and that's what happened.
Yes.
The food was delivered to you, and he rang the doorbell, he knocked at the door, how did... Next.
Yes, he rang the doorbell.
Rang the bell, and where were you when he rang the bell?
I was on the couch in the living room.
So what did you do?
So it was earlier than I expected, so I jumped up and opened the door, and...
And the plaintiff was there?
Correct.
So you jumped up, opened the door, plaintiff was there, and?
And the dog ran up and barked at him, which she does.
I don't care what she does. The dog ran up and barked at him.
Yes.
And?
Yes. And so...
And,
Yes, she was barking at him. She ran up to him and barked at him. And so I herded her inside and was holding her back behind me while I was at the door thinking I could just grab the food and that would be it. And but then the plaintiff said she bit me. And so I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see her bite him, but that's what he said. So I said, I'm sorry. What can I do? Do you need help?
When he said the dog bit me, it's a small dog, so unless the dog jumps, it must have bit him on the leg.
Correct.
Did he show it to you?
Not at that time.
When did he show it to you?
He asked if he could come into the apartment, and I was surprised, but I was kind of, taken off guard, so I said yes. And he sat on the couch, and he lifted the bottom of his leg and showed me a little bruise on his ankle.
It was bleeding out.
I don't want to hear from you yet.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is something wrong with you?
I called 911, Your Honor.
Are you nuts? 911 is when you have an emergency.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what did you call 911 for?
I was afraid for my life, Your Honor.
Oh, well, then there's something wrong with you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Food deliverer Xandra Batista says Katrina Rios' dog bit him during a delivery.
Okay, so you invited him inside, he sat down, he picked up his pants, and showed you a mark on his ankle.
Correct. I should say at this time I had put the dog away. Actually, before I let him in, I closed the door, put her away in her cage, and then let him in.
Before he came back in?
Yes, because she was still barking.
Okay. So when you saw the bruise on his ankle, what did you say to him?
I said, I'm sorry, can I help? What do you need? A Band-Aid or something?
Well, when you use a Band-Aid, it means you usually see some blood.
I didn't see any blood.
Okay. So you gave him a Band-Aid for what?
I didn't, but I asked if he needed something, and he said he was very upset. He said he was worried about rabies, and I said the dog doesn't have rabies, but I'm sorry that,
Did you say the dog has shots? I can get you the shot?
I did.
He doesn't have to believe you.
Yeah, I said it's not my dog, but I believe she's vaccinated, and I'm sure I can give you my roommate's contact information. I gave him my contact information and said, you can contact her for all of that information. He asked if she had insurance for the dog, and I said, I don't know, but you can talk to her.
Okay, and that was it. And he left?
Not at that time yet.
Oh, well, just tell me what happened.
Okay, he called 911, and so the fire department came out. So a couple of people, two guys from the fire department came into the apartment. They checked his leg, looked at him, checked his blood pressure and all of that, and they said he was fine. He expressed his concerns about rabies, and they said there's no way you got rabies from that if that's a bite because there's no skin broken. So you have to break the skin to get rabies. You definitely wouldn't contract rabies that way. But if you'd like to go to the hospital, we can either call an ambulance for you or you could drive yourself. And so the plaintiff said that he would drive himself. And then they left. And he stayed a little longer he was upset and talking to me about being afraid of rabies, and he needs to go to the hospital and so forth. And then he left. He said he was going to drive himself to the hospital.
Thank you. Can I see a picture of the injury? Yep.
Your Honor, can I see that? I've never seen the injury either.
I want to tell you something. It's nothing.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. I was just wondering.
No, listen to me.
Sorry.
It's nothing. You called the fire department over this? Is something wrong with you?
I called 911, Your Honor.
Are you nuts?
You know, Your
Don't
Honor.
you think if you called 911, 911 is when you have an emergency.
Yes, Your Honor.
911 is when you have an emergency.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what did you call 911 for?
I was afraid for my life, Your Honor.
Oh, well, then there's something wrong with you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
In calling an emergency over a nip that didn't break your skin, that required emergency vehicles that should be at the disposal of other people who have real emergencies, is ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Food deliverer Xandro Batista says Katrina Rios' dog bit him during a delivery.
Now, sir, listen to me very carefully. When you are bitten viciously by the dog, there was no broken skin, none. This is your picture. I take this picture as gospel truth that this is what your ankle looked like. And when you call 911, you take either police officers. In this case, you took a fire truck, and I'm surprised they didn't sue you. I'm really surprised they didn't sue you. Now, not smart when you have, first of all, I don't like your answer. Your answer suggests two things that are lies. She told me the honest-to-goodness truth story. Your answer was not that. I don't know who made up the fantasy here. But next time when you write a deposition, listen to me. I want you to take the number $5,000 and erase it from your mind. Totally erase it from your mind. The dog nipped you. You weren't injured. You had a fear. It wasn't right that the dog nipped you. I want you to take the figure $5,000 and do a windshield wiper on your mind. Do you understand? Now, you have the right, if you have a fear, to go to a doctor or a hospital for the doctor to look at it. And the defendant is going to be responsible for that visit on March 2nd. Do you understand? That's it. Now, I want to see the bill. And I'm telling you, your conduct that day in calling an emergency over a nip that didn't break your skin, that required emergency vehicles that should be at the disposal of other people who have real emergencies to come and look at your non-existent injury because you were looking to make money is ridiculous.
Can you speak?
Ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't even think this bill is reasonable. Actually, I think you should have gone into a walk-in clinic, not go to an emergency room for $1,074 for a mark that didn't even break your skin. I mean, an intelligent person knows that you can't get a disease from a dog or from another unless they break the skin. You were wearing pants. This thing didn't get through the pants. Now you can speak. You have 30 seconds.
Your Honor, I was a full-time independent contractor and a Grubhub delivery. I had no insurance, Your Honor. I'm not comfortable with honor with the dog. Can you take out the dog? Because I'm still shocked right now, Your Honor.
Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $250, which is what it would have cost you to go see a doctor to tell you not to worry. We're done. Goodbye.
I have medical bills.
Step up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She's right. He was ridiculous.
When something have rabies, it's very not good to the people.
So if he's afraid of my dog, why would he come back to my apartment?
I'm not going back on their house many times, only once.
So a guy come to the door, didn't know who it was, so she started to bark, and that was it.
I was afraid of the dog because they bite the dog, and I see the people become crazy and die.
You were delivering some medicine to the defendant's home.
A pharmacy's house call goes bad.
Before I put the medication out the door, the little kid, 4 years old, opened the door and the dog came out and bit my hand.
What did he say to you?
He didn't even say sorry to me.
And reality is a bitter pill to swallow.
Your dog nipped him.
We're taking the position our dog didn't touch him.
I don't care what your position is.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judy Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
20-year-old Yusuf Debal is suing Michael James for medical bills and punitive damages from a dog attack.
Order. All rise. Yeah, that's case number 120 on the calendar, the matter of Duvall versus James.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Duvall, you were delivering some medicine to the defendant's home.
Yes.
You were working independently. You were making deliveries for a pharmacy that you don't work for weekly.
He's my friend. He's the owner of the pharmacy.
That's not what I said to you. I want you to listen carefully.
Okay.
I said you don't work for the pharmacy on a weekly basis.
No, I don't.
You were making a delivery to the defendant's house.
Yes.
For whom was the medication?
It was for me.
Have you used this pharmacy before?
Never.
First time.
I didn't use them. My dermatologist uses them, and I wanted him to use my pharmacy.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's of no import to me whatsoever.
But I've never used them, no.
You've not used them. Your dermatologist called the pharmacy, ordered a prescription.
Yep.
Okay. When had you been to the dermatologist?
Just a few days before this occurred.
And do you know on what day the dermatologist called the pharmacy?
No, I do not.
How were you notified that the dermatologist called the pharmacy?
The pharmacy delivery man called me.
Just a second. The pharmacy called you?
Called me and said, we will make your delivery.
We're going to go back. On what day were you bitten by the defendant's dog?
September 26th.
On what date did you go to the dermatologist? Well, I'm going to wait here as long as it takes.
I don't have that date. I didn't know I needed it, but it was a few days before the 26th, probably around the 22nd or 3rd.
And you went to the dermatologist for what reason, Mr. James?
For a rash.
Now, I've been to the dermatologist numerous times in my life. If I go in for a rash, the dermatologist gives me either a prescription or a sample. I assume you went to the dermatologist and the dermatologist gave you something.
Nope.
So you don't have a very good dermatologist, because if you went there for a rash and it took 2 or 3 days for him to call in a prescription, I would change my dermatologist. You understand where I'm going, Mr. James?
I understand.
Okay, you don't look like an unintelligent man. If you go to a dermatologist for a rash and the dermatologist gives you nothing but says, listen, I think it'll just go away. Stop eating peanuts or or change your lotion. And then I assume that you had to call your dermatologist and say the rash is getting worse. Come on, Mr. James, you know where I'm going.
I know.
Okay, so you know where I'm going. Let's get there faster than slower. You went there on the 22nd, 23rd. You went for a rash.
Yeah.
You went for a rash. The doctor didn't give you anything.
Nope.
And then what happened?
Then the delivery man...
No. Something happened before the delivery man, because you're not a fool. If I went to a dermatologist and I didn't get a prescription the next day, I would call the dermatologist and say, listen, I didn't get the prescription, or are you calling in a prescription for me? Do you want me to come back and get a prescription? The rash is getting worse. Something had to happen between the 22nd and the 23rd and the 26th, not just a call from a pharmacy.
I offered to pick it up. And he
Mr.
said, no,
James,
they'll call you for delivery.
Mr. James.
Sounded strange to me.
Just a second.
Okay.
Did your dermatologist say, I'm calling in a prescription to XYZ pharmacy, and they will call you when it's ready?
Correct.
On what date did you get a call from XYZ pharmacy that the prescription was ready?
Probably on the 25th.
That was a couple of days after you had been to the dermatologist.
Yes.
Did they already have your address?
Yes.
You were given the prescription?
Yes.
At what time on the 26th?
7:30.
Morning or evening?
p.m.
And I'd like you to tell me what happened when you were delivering the prescription. Stop shaking your leg.
Okay, at first we was planning to go to the gym together.
Listen to me. I don't care what you were planning. I want you to tell me what happened.
What happened when I get there?
You got the prescription.
Yes.
You drove there or walked?
Drove there.
And?
Okay.
Parked the car.
Yes. And he told me, he told me already, he's going to leave the check. He taped it on the door and leave the medication.
He's going to leave a check taped on the door.
Yes.
Now, I want you to describe the door to me. Is there a porch? Do you just walk up to the door? Is it a private house?
There's like a screen, and you open the screen door and go to the door.
So it's a private house?
Yes.
Do you have to walk up a porch?
I'm just a little to get the check and leave the medication there.
You didn't answer my question. Is there a porch?
It's not. It's just
Are
like
there
a screen
steps?
door. No, there's no steps.
You just walk straight into the house. So you have to open the screen.
And go to the door.
Did you open the screen?
Yes.
Was there an envelope attached to the door?
It was.
Did you take the envelope?
I took the envelope.
Then what happened?
And then before I put the medication out the door, the little kid, 4 years old, opened the door, and the dog came out and bit my hand.
Who is the 4-year-old that lives in your house?
It's our grandson we're raising.
And what kind of a dog do you have?
Great Pyrenees.
So a small child opened the door.
Mm-hmm.
Had you rang a doorbell?
I didn't ring the bell.
Had you knocked at the door?
I didn't knock the door.
You had already taken the check.
I took the check and I was about to put the medication.
After you were bitten and you left the house, did you leave the house with the check?
Yes.
Did you leave the house with the medication?
It was in my hand, but he took it after.
He took it?
Yes.
So after the small child opened the door and the dog came out, Mr. James came out?
He came out after.
What did he say to you?
At first, like, he was, like, a little bit rude to me. And it's like, he didn't even say sorry to me. And I was like, what?
Don't tell me a little bit rude. I'm not interested in a little bit rude. I asked you what he said to you.
Oh, he's like, are you okay? And all this stuff. That's it.
Just, are you okay? Is that what he said?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said, yeah, I'm okay.
And what did he say?
Nothing. We just called 911 to get there.
Who called 911?
Ash called.
He wasn't there with you.
I called him. I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I called him to like tell him what to do. So he came.
Was this the first time you had made deliveries for your friend?
Yes.
So you called 911?
Yes.
Great. Sit. And where did you go from there?
I went to the hospital.
You went to what hospital?
Countryside Hospital.
Were photographs taken of your injury?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at them. So this was on your hand?
Yes, my left hand.
And how many wounds were there, 1 or 2?
There's like one in my finger and one right here.
And they washed it out?
Yeah.
At the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And they gave you a Band-Aid?
Yeah.
And then you contacted a lawyer?
Yes.
On what date did you contact the lawyer?
After like a week after.
Why?
Because I was waiting for him like to pay the bills for the hospital, but he didn't.
Oh, did you ask him to pay the hospital bill?
We did at first. Like after I hired the lawyer, I did.
After you hired the lawyer, why
Yes.
didn't you call him before you hired the lawyer and say, listen, I went to the hospital just to make sure that it was okay, and they put a Band-Aid on it, but I have this hospital bill now that I have to pay. Before you went to a lawyer.
Because the lawyer would get like fast and like.
No, the lawyer wouldn't deal with fast. The lawyer would get you more money. And the lawyer said, forget it.
No, he contacted him.
He contacted him and asked him if he had insurance. He said he had no insurance. The lawyer said, forget it, because he had no real injuries. So did you go to another lawyer?
No, I was with the same lawyer.
But the one lawyer told you to forget it.
No, he didn't tell me to forget it.
Well, then why are you here in small claims court?
Because he tried to contact him and tell him like to pay for the bills, but he said like I'm not gonna pay for the bills, so that's why I like.
No, but did you fire the lawyer? I just want to know why you're
No,
here.
I still have the lawyer.
Well, then what are you doing here?
Because he said like he's not gonna pay for the bills, and I opened a small claim and I give it to the court.
I want to know, do you think that you're still going to proceed against him? If I give you the medical bills, are you going to continue with the lawyer to sue him?
No.
So you don't need the lawyer?
No.
Okay. Can I see your medical bill?
Yeah.
How many different doctors did you go to?
There's one bill for the doctor and the other one's for the hospital.
Outrageous. I mean, it's actually outrageous. No wonder the country is in such catastrophic state with regard to medical gouging. Did you pay any part of the bill?
Not yet.
So you understand the checks go right to these people. You understand that?
Yeah.
Just want to make that crystal clear to you. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You said to him, are you okay? Now, when I have people come to my house to deliver, because my husband loves to order things from Amazon Prime, and I say, thank you very much, I'll take the package, I never ask them how they are.
And later today.
No, that I don't believe, Ms. Jackson.
My car is still at the hotel. That's
why
why
would you leave cash in your car?
Because I'm going back to my car. I didn't want to be overpacked. I said, I just need this folder right here. This was it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pharmacy clerk Yusef Dubal says he was delivering medicine when a dog owned by Michael James bit him.
How many different doctors did you go to?
There's one bill for the doctor and the other one's for the hospital.
Outrageous. No wonder the country is in such catastrophic state with regard to medical gouging. Now, did you pay any part of the bill?
Not yet.
So you understand the checks go right to these people. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Your dog nipped him.
Am I allowed to say anything?
Sure. You can say whatever you want. Your dog nipped him. He's not going to get rich on your dog nipping him.
No, it was outrageous what he did. We're taking the position our dog didn't touch him.
I don't care what your position
No,
is.
I mean, I'm just saying, our dog didn't nip him.
You weren't there.
She was there.
No.
Not me. Not me.
No.
I was in the
Just a
back of the
second.
house.
Just a second. She wasn't there. The 4-year-old was there. The 4-year-old opened the door.
No.
4-year-old's not here. 4-year-old I can question. You have a Great Pyrenees?
Yes.
Yes. The Great Pyrenees nipped him. And that's frightening. And frightening enough for you to have said to him, sir, and I don't care what your position is, are you okay? Do you understand? Do you understand? You didn't come to the door and say, give me my medication, thank you very much. You said to him, are you okay? Now, when I have people come to my house to deliver, and they do at least 10 times a day because my husband loves to order things from Amazon Prime. So 100 times a week, I have delivery men coming to my door, and I say, thank you very much, I'll take the package. I never ask them how they are. Not that I don't care how they are. I care how they are. But when somebody makes a delivery, you don't say, are you okay? Do you understand, Mr. James?
Didn't
Judgment for
happen
the
like that.
plaintiff in the amount of $1,800. Checks go to the medical facilities. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
When I got out there, my driveway was filled with fire trucks.
He just he likes to lie.
Dog control, paramedics, and later a policeman.
Why I'm gonna try to hurt myself? There's no reason for it.
So somebody made these calls very quickly.
Because my head was bleeding, and when they asked him is the dog has his shot?
Because you can't get all these 4 people in your driveway.
He said I'm not sure, so we're not sure if the dog has shots.
Within 20 minutes.
So I have to go to the house to get a shot and clean it up.
I'm implying this is all set up. This is a setup.
I do afraid of dog. I get afraid of dog a lot.
Oh, I want to put it to bed.
The bills anymore.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gibson versus Abramson. Step forward.
Catherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Miss Gibson, you were mauled by the defendant's dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
On what date did this happen?
May 5th, 2018.
And it happened on the property that belongs to a friend of yours.
Yes,
Who is
ma'am.
that?
Her name is Cindy Weaver.
And Mr. Abrahamson, you live on Miss Weaver's property. You're the handyman?
Used to be. Yes, ma'am. I actually built the house.
Were you on May 5th, her
Yes, ma'am.
handyman?
Not a handyman. I was living on the property, though.
What were you doing there?
There's a residence in the back of the property that I live in.
You rent?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were a renter. How much rent were you paying her?
$400 a month.
How long had you lived there?
5 years.
When did you move out?
I haven't yet. I still live on the property.
And where is Miss Weaver?
She's in the main house.
Other than renting the property, do you do any work there?
Occasionally, yes, small stuff, not really handyman stuff, helping
Does
out.
she pay you for that?
She doesn't give me cash for it. No, ma'am.
Fine. So you are purely a renter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You pay her $400 a month to live in your house.
Yes.
That's where your dogs have to be.
Well-
In your house. We're supposed to keep them in control so that somebody doesn't get almost mauled to death.
And later today,
She doesn't have to pay for your child support, right? You would say it's not right for Miss Raines, who you were dating, to pay for your 13-year-old child support. But that wouldn't be fair, right?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Catherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Now, other than renting the property, do you do any work there?
Occasionally, yes, small stuff, not really handyman stuff, helping
Does
out.
she pay you for that?
She doesn't give me cash for it. No, ma'am.
Fine. So you are purely a renter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many dogs do you have?
3.
What kind?
The dog in question is a pit bull Rottweiler mix.
And the other 2 dogs?
The other one is a...
Sit up. All the way up. I can hardly tell. Your pants are falling down, so I can hardly tell whether you're sitting or standing.
The female is a blue pit bull, blue Great Dane mix, 50-50. And then they have a child together, who's about 6 months old.
Now, on May 5th, one or more of your dogs attacked Miss Gibson.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're a renter and you have pit bulls or Rottweilers, you should have renter's insurance. If they'll give you renter's insurance, you're responsible for her injuries. Your dogs were roaming free. They weren't under your control. End of story. You're a renter. She was visiting a friend. They're not allowed to roam around free and bite people. That's a simple rule. You have 3 big dogs. They're supposed to be under your control.
Ma'am?
What?
I feel like they were under my control. They're on the property. This is a fenced property.
No, listen to me.
I wasn't aware if this woman was visiting.
Who cares what you were aware of? Is what you're telling me the house that you live in is fenced. Your little house is fenced. Is that what you're telling me?
There is a fenced in back, but that's not where they were.
That's, of course, because she didn't go into your property. You're a renter.
It's one piece of property.
No, sir. You're a renter. You're not a handyman. That's what you just told me. You're strictly a renter. You don't have the house back there because the house is under your control because you're taking care of it. You pay her $400 a month to live in your house.
Yes.
That's where your dogs have to be.
Well,
in your house.
Your Honor.
And if they're outside of your house, they have to be under your control.
Your Honor.
On Cindy Weaver's property is not in your control.
Your Honor.
What?
Cindy Weaver was aware that these animals
Don't tell me what
roamed
just
this
listen.
4-acre parcel.
Just pay careful attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't tell me what Cindy Weaver was aware of because that calls for the operation of the mind of another person.
Yes, ma'am.
That is impermissible in a court of law.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm telling you, you have 3 big dogs.
Okay.
They're
what about
supposed
a conversation?
We're supposed to keep them in control so that somebody doesn't get almost mauled to death.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
What else do you think he owes you for?
Your Honor, after he got out of jail, we went on a trip.
I don't care about your trip with him. Did you sleep with him on the trip?
I did.
I don't care. But what's next?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Katherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Now, you have photographs of your injuries?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see them. Show these to the defendant, please. I have conversations, Mr. Abrahamson, with people who act responsibly when they have potentially vicious dogs. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you. Parties are excused. You may step out.
I was blindsided by his dog.
I gotta say, I feel very bad for the lady because of her injuries.
Attacked me on my left side.
But I didn't ask my dog to attack this lady.
Knocked me down on the driveway.
I'm very sorry it all happened, but there's nothing I can do. Like I said,
Went through my throat.
I didn't teach my dog to bite people.
I put my arm up. Saved my life.
I didn't ask him to go bite this lady.
I'm still living it.
And let's be honest, it is more than a bite.
I can't sleep.
I feel like he had been provoked in some way.
And depression and PTSD.
Because it's not typical for him to act like that.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Shrek versus Mullet. Step forward.
James Schreck is suing his ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Mullet, for the return or value of a Lexus and lost wages.
Mr. Schreck, how long did you and the defendant live together?
Roughly about 2 months.
How long did you know each other before you lived together for 2 months?
8 years.
Were you dating for those 8 years?
On and off.
Did you ever live at her house during those 8 years?
No.
Did she ever live at your house for those 8 years?
Not until
This period?
Yes.
During those 8 years, were you sort of an exclusive relationship with the defendant?
To my knowledge, I thought it was.
You thought it was?
Yes, somewhat, yes.
Okay. The case is a relatively simple one. You say that she took your car.
Yes, ma'am.
When the two of you split up. She says you gave her the car.
What happened?
Just don't tell me what happened.
Okay.
Now, we have a car. The car is how old?
1998.
And when you were living together, how many cars did you have?
1.
Was that the 1998?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many cars did you have?
I only had 1 car.
Which car?
The Lexus.
What year?
98.
So the two of you had 1 car.
No.
How many cars were there in the household for the 2 months that you lived together?
It's a bit more complicated than just...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Listen,
okay.
You can make it more complicated, sir. I'm going to uncomplicate it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You drove the car, you tried to get it back, you sold it to somebody else. At that point, you were playing games with each other.
No.
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 Did you, in fact, sell the car to somebody else after she left?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
James Schreck says ex-girlfriend Jennifer Mullet fraudulently registered his car under her name.
Now, the two of you had one car.
No.
How many cars were there in the household for the 2 months that you lived together?
It's a bit more complicated than just...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Listen,
okay.
You can make it more complicated, sir. I'm going to uncomplicate it.
Okay.
When you were living apart for 8 years, did you have a car?
Yes, I've had multiple
What car?
cars. Multiple different cars over the 8 years.
For the last 5 years.
Multiple different cars over the last 5 years.
When was the 1998 car purchased?
Roughly 2 months before we moved into the house.
Not roughly. When did you move into the house?
June of 2017.
And when did you move out of the house?
August 13th, 2017.
Were you together when the car was purchased? Together, physically together?
No.
Was it purchased from a dealer or from a private person?
Private person off a Craigslist.
Who found the car?
I did.
When you went to see the car of this private person, who took you?
Nobody. He came to me with the car.
You did not have a car at the time?
No, I had just sold my other car and used that money to purchase this car.
So the purchaser came to you with this car?
Yes, ma'am.
Came to your home?
We met at a Burger King next to my house.
How much was the car?
$1,250.
And 2 months later, you and the defendant moved in together?
Yes, ma'am.
So who did you purchase the car from?
I didn't purchase the vehicle.
He purchased the car?
Yes.
So I assumed that I can rely on what he said to me, that that's how the car was purchased?
Correct.
Okay. Now, 2 months before you moved in together, what kind of car were you driving?
I didn't. I wasn't.
You had no car?
I had no car.
6 months before you moved in together, did you have a car?
No car.
When you purchased the car, did you register it?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because it was still currently registered and...
In whose name?
The person that I bought it from.
Yes, but you're supposed to take it out of his name and put it in your name.
I understand that, ma'am, yes.
Because otherwise he's responsible for the car.
You're correct, ma'am.
I know I'm correct.
Yes, I disagree
Well, why
with you.
didn't you register the car?
Because with moving into the new house and everything, I didn't have the funds to transfer the title.
Oh, well, you knew that wasn't the right thing to do.
You're correct. I don't deny that at all.
And the person that you purchased the car from let you take his license plates.
Yes, that's...
What do you mean, yes?
I've never purchased a car without the license plates.
When you purchase a car with, if somebody is stupid enough to give you the license plates, you're supposed to register the car within 24 hours and return the license plates to motor vehicles.
I've never had to ever do that here with a car.
What do you do when you register a car?
They just give you, if it needs new tags, they just give you a new tag and put it on the plates. Other than a lien sale vehicle that I've bought, and I've never had to return the plates.
Did you have insurance on the car?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Schreck, I am disinclined to help you at all.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, who has the car now?
Nobody.
Where is it?
I sold it. It broke down.
She sold it. You see, Mr. Schreck, what you're suggesting happened with your car is that she took the pink slip and went and registered the car herself and sold it.
She drove it for 6 to 8 months before she sold it.
So?
Okay. She didn't pay for the car, and I didn't give it to her. And if it was supposed to be in anybody's name, it should have been in my name.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Okay. You're correct.
Right? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't know when she registered the car.
4 to 5 days after she left borrowing the car.
Mr. Schreck, I'm not helping you, sir. This is the reason that I'm not helping you. When you come to court is a place of equity. You're supposed to do the right thing. Okay. And what you did was the wrong thing. You put somebody else at risk. You purchased somebody's car, and because you were busy and didn't have money, you drove around without registering the car.
Okay.
Your girlfriend at the time was just fine with that. She drove the car, and you drove the car. You were living together for 2 months. You split up. She took the car with her. Well, she drove the car, you tried to get it back, you sold it to somebody else, but you can't sell it to somebody else because you hadn't registered it yourself. You know, at that point, you were playing games with each other.
No.
No?
No. The night that she left the car...
Did you, in fact, sell the car to somebody else after she left? No, that's either a yes or a no.
I attempted to get something back from the car because I knew she was trying to take it from me.
Did you, in fact?
Yes, I did.
Goodbye, folks. You don't have the car anymore?
No.
She doesn't have the car anymore. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I did work in exchange for the car, and he had another vehicle there too that was registered to him. And I just took did what I was supposed to. That he goes about his way and leaves me alone. Do the right thing. Pay your bills. Protect yourself. Pay your bills and be accountable.
You told her you were not happy with the dress.
A bride-to-be comes apart at the seams.
I said, this is not what I asked for.
You paid her less and took the dress as it was.
Then a public modeling session on local TV.
So she called the news media, and this was the picture that the news media published.
The dress was taken apart and said, this is how I made it.
That's outrageous.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Danielle Burke is suing designer Sonia Timmons Scott for a refund for a wedding dress and punitive damages for stress.
Order. All rise. That's case number 223 on the calendar, the matter of Burke versus Timmons Scott.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Miss Burke, what was the date of your wedding?
August 11th of 2018.
And when did you hire the defendant to make the dress for your wedding?
November 24th of 2017.
And you paid her for the dress when you picked it up?
Yes.
Did you pay her in full for the dress when you picked it up, or were you short a little money?
No, I paid her in full. She discounted the price because it was not completed as stated.
Is what you're telling me there wasn't an incident in the store when you went to pick it up?
No, there was no incident.
At all?
No.
Right, and you paid her according to you in full?
Yes.
So what are you suing her for?
I'm suing for the return of my money for an incomplete dress.
Well, you paid her for it. You just told me that you paid her a discounted price because she delivered an incompleted dress. That was your contract. She was giving you an incompleted dress, and you gave her less money than you were supposed to for a completed dress. That's the story you just told me.
No.
Now, you have to understand that that's the story you just told me. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay, so now if you want to change your story, I'm more than willing to hear from you. Because the story that you just told me, which is totally inconsistent with what you wrote here, was not the same.
Right.
So let's start again.
Okay, so
you paid her less than what the agreed price was.
Correct. In order for
And you made the last payment to her on the day that you picked up the dress.
Correct.
Was there any sort of incident, argument, discussion when you gave her less money than you were supposed to?
There wasn't an argument. There was a discussion.
Okay.
I did have a conversation.
Okay, just a second. So then let's stop there. You picked up the dress on what date?
July 20th.
Picked up the dress on the 20th, and you were supposed to give her how much money?
$490.
And you gave her how much for the dress?
$300.
Now you're going to tell me why you gave her $190 less.
So in order for me to have received the dress, I had to pay her what was owed. Because
what was owed was $490.
Right. But in there, she said, I told her I was not happy with...
Okay, let's take it slow. You told her you were not happy with the dress, and she said...
She said to me, but why? The dress is beautiful. I said, this is not what I asked for. This is not the discussion we had. This is not the layout of the pictures that I showed you for what I wanted. So she said, okay, well, I can take $90 off. And as we were sitting there, my mom said, that's not enough. You did not complete the dress for what she wanted.
So your mom was with you?
Correct.
Go ahead.
So she said, well, I'm not taking anything else off. So my mom said, well, you're going to have to because it's not fair that you have a dress here that's not completed.
So what did you do?
So after that, I said, I need that top piece that's attached to the dress. I need the beaded piece because that's what I paid for.
Just a second. You wanted the beaded piece.
Right. So we gave her the $390 in order
to get
the dress.
So you gave her $300.
Yeah, 300.
She already said I would discount it, 90. You said that's not enough. So you gave her 300 and took the dress.
Correct, because she took another 100 off.
So she took another 100
Yes.
off and you took the dress.
And I took the dress.
That's the contract. That's the bargain. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's the law. That's the bargain.
Which I understand.
You said, you and your mother said to her, we're not happy with the dress. Want you to take some money off. It's not finished the way we want it. We want certain pieces of the dress. She said, I'll give you $90 off. According to you, your mother said that's not enough. She took out $300. She gave it to her. The defendant accepted it. You took the dress. That's the contract. Over. That's the contract. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Good. So now we've taken care of your claim. You made a contract with her. You paid her less for the dress. You weren't happy with it. You wanted to take it someplace else. You could have. You needed the top part. Great. Whatever it was, that was your deal with her. She gave you the dress in exchange for the remainder of the payment, which was $300 instead of $490. You raise your hand. What do you want to say? That's the contract. I'm telling you, that's the law.
I understand. As far as the contract goes, I signed the contract during the consult.
No. I'm talking about the day you picked up the dress.
I understand.
That's all I'm talking about. The day you picked up the dress, you concluded a contract with her by saying, I'm going to pay you less and take the dress as it is, which is what you did. That's your contract. Now, if you said, I don't want the dress, it's not what I wanted, and left it there with her, and then sued her for it, then I would let you show me this is not right, this fabric is not right, and whatever. But you took the dress. That was your deal. I'm paying less. I'm taking not what I really wanted, but pieces of it I want. Got it? So you have no case. Now, you have a counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
And your counterclaim is for?
Well, after her and her mother were combating about taking the dress, they went on social media and the dress was demolished and taken apart and said, this is how I made it.
I'd like to see. Well, first of all, show me the dress as completed.
Oh, okay. I'll show you the dress. Here's the original dress. And here's what they did to it. It was taken apart. You can see the stitches taken apart. And I spoke with someone.
Let me see.
I'm sorry.
Tell me who you spoke to, because you do understand you're in business, correct?
Yes.
She's allowed to give you a negative review. I got my dress. I wasn't happy with it. I didn't like the way it was made. I was dissatisfied. I would not recommend her. You're allowed to do that. What you're not allowed to do is fraudulently make a statement about her by taking apart the dress and making it look worse in order to buttress your claim of dissatisfaction and post that around. Do you understand that?
I understand that, and I did not do that.
Okay. I'm going to look at these pictures. This is the dress she picked up for which you were paid. This is the dress she picked up.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. Is this what you posted on social media?
That's the dress.
That's not what she gave you.
Top of the mannequin.
Second, I don't care. This is the dress that you picked up, and this is what you posted.
Actually,
that's unacceptable. That's after you took it apart.
No, what I posted was the dress, and then they asked me to see the actual dress minus the bodice piece.
Who asked you to see that?
The news guy.
That's outrageous. It's deceptive. It's suggesting that this is the dress that she gave you. That's what it's suggesting. It's suggesting that you looked like this in this dress, when in actuality, this is what she had made for you. And I don't care who asked you to take it apart to make it look worse. That's ridiculous.
No, they didn't ask me to take the dress apart. My seamstress that made my actual wedding dress, she took the top piece off to create my wedding dress for my day.
Listen to me very carefully.
Okay.
My question to you is, did you post this picture on social media?
No, I did not post anything on social media.
Well, who did?
That's
What are you
Help Me
telling me?
Hank. I didn't post anything on social media.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, then let me see it on social media, madam.
She called Help Me Hank and reported the dress unmade. He came and interviewed me. He stuck his camera in my window while people were trying to undress, and I refused the interview.
Just a second. So she called the news media, and this was the picture that the news media published?
No.
Yes.
They had
On the
multiple
TV.
pictures on the TV from the item that I actually showed her that I wanted the dress to look like. They had a picture of that. They had a picture of me in the dress.
Show your pictures, Danielle.
So these are the pictures. And these are the other pictures.
What I want to know is who furnished this picture to the media?
He took it of me in the house in the dress.
In whose house?
My house.
This picture. Yes. Okay. Let me tell you why you can't do that. Because this picture suggests that this is the dress that was made for you by this lady. That's what it suggests.
There's more images. She just printed off one of the pictures off the website.
That's all she has to. Off what website?
They had.
I thought you said it wasn't on social media.
If you go on Google, you can play back the video recording and you can pause it and take a picture of what was posted on there. So she just took that one picture and said, this is what she's saying that I did. There was a whole spread of the work that she did. A whole spread.
Good. You're going to pay her for that. What?
I'm sorry. May I say something?
You can say whatever you want to say.
May I stand up?
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am the one who took the piece off of the dress.
I don't care. Are you not understanding what I'm saying to you?
I am understanding, but the reason why it wasn't on there is we had only 4 weeks left to remake the dress.
Listen,
I just don't want you to penalize her for what I did.
Just a second. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
One of the things that she used in order to say this is the dress that she made for me and it was terrible was untrue because it does not look anything like the dress that she picked up from the defendant.
And later today,
at some point,
Yes.
you gave her your policy number.
She asked for my policy number.
You mean you didn't say, why do you want my policy number?
I did not.
Okay. Not believe.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Danielle Burke says designer Sonia Timmons Scott owes for a botched wedding dress. Sonia's countersuing for slander, loss of business, and punitive damages.
Okay, what I'm saying to her is she has no case. She paid for a dress, discounted, and took what she got. That was the end of her contract. She paid $190 less and said, I'll take it. Then she brought it to you. Then she called a local news agency to say to them that this person who originally made my dress was terrible at making the dress. And one of the things that she used in order to say this is the dress that she made for me and it was terrible was this photograph, which was untrue because it does not look anything like the dress that she picked up from the defendant. Do you understand?
I do, Your Honor.
That's slander, and that she's going to pay for. She can't do that. You can say, I picked up the dress and I didn't like the way it looked, but you can't mislead the public to her detriment by showing them this dress and even suggesting that this was the product that she received from the defendant.
I just wanted
from her business.
I just wanted her to wanted you to know that she didn't take it off. I did.
There's multiple pictures. There's a whole video.
You're not listening to me. Somebody watching it will see this picture, and this picture is deceptive, and you can't do that.
So you just pick and choose which picture you want to take out of there and go based upon.
You be careful before you slander somebody in their business. Judgment on the counterclaim for $2,500. Your claim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I needed that top piece so that my new seamstress can make my proper wedding dress.
I really gave her a good deal because that was a $2,000 dress.
My wedding and my dress was amazing.
The truth.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Garceau versus Marrero Buckley. Step forward.
Michelle Garceau is suing the father of her child, Brian Buckley, and his girlfriend, Lisa Marrero, for unpaid credit card charges.
Ms. Garceau, you and Mr. Buckley have a child together.
That's correct.
How old is that child?
He's 6 years old.
And who does he live with?
He lives with me.
Has he always lived with you?
Yes.
Okay. And this is your current girlfriend?
Yes.
There came a time, Miss Garceau, when I gather you and your son did not have a place to live.
That's incorrect.
Tell me why you moved in with Miss Marrero and Mr. Buckley.
I've never lived with either one of the defendants.
Did you ever stay with them?
I stayed there on Christmas Day and the following day for 2 nights because I was sick for a week prior. So he was helping out with our son, and Miss Marrero is a nurse, so she was making sure I was okay.
But you had your own residence?
Yes, I have my own home in Torrington.
Okay. Is it your claim that the plaintiff lived with you?
Correct.
From when to when?
She actually called, had been assaulted by the man she was living with. She needed a place to stay. Received that call after Thanksgiving, so after Thanksgiving until roughly beginning of February.
And that doesn't sound remotely familiar to you?
It's not correct at all, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I want you to tell me how they got possession of your credit card.
Lisa expressed that she was having financial issues.
That's not true.
Don't answer her. When you use somebody else's money, don't interfere with them when they're telling the story.
I can tell you what it's for them.
I don't care what it's for. Why are you using somebody else's money?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Michelle Garceau says the father of her child, Brian Buckley, and his girlfriend, Lisa Marrero, owe for charges they made on her credit card.
Now, is it your claim that the plaintiff lived with you?
Correct. She actually called, had been assaulted by the man she was living with. She needed a place to stay.
And that doesn't sound remotely familiar to you?
It's not correct at all, Your Honor. Okay. During the month of December, I was okay up until about 4 days before Christmas when I became ill, and I was in and out of the hospital for about 4 days. Christmas Day came. I was home in my own home with my family. I became ill again, and my ex-boyfriend had called my son's father to come and pick me up and my son up because he had to go to work.
I want you to tell me how they got possession of your credit card.
Okay, so in December, before Christmas, the defendant and I actually became very close.
Me, Miss Marrero?
Yes, and we just had a pretty good family dynamic going on. And she expressed to me that she was having financial trouble and that she was having...
Do you work?
No, unfortunately had a back
So the answer is you don't work?
Correct.
Do you have children?
I do.
How many?
I have 2. One that lives with me. She's 26.
So you have no minor children?
No, but Brian's daughter lives with us. She's 7.
You have custody of one child?
Yes.
From what relationship?
Relationship with another woman.
Were you working during Christmas?
No, I was not.
Why not?
I was looking for work, in the middle of looking for work.
How was your family supporting itself?
My girlfriend was helping me out. And
how was she helping you out? She wasn't working.
She was.
I have an income.
She has an income. She has a fixed income.
Because I'm disabled.
So you get disability?
Correct. And workers' comp.
How much do you get?
About $3,000 a month.
How long have you been getting the $3,000 a month?
The disability started 2 years ago, and workers' comp was 3 years ago.
Okay, keep going.
Your Honor, it was her claim to me that she brings in $7,000 a month.
I don't want to hear.
Okay. Getting back to the credit card, Lisa expressed that she was having financial issues and she was upset that she wasn't going to be able to purchase Christmas gifts for the kids. So we had a good relationship. I agreed to let her use one of my credit cards that had a 0 balance. There was a $5,500 limit on the card. She was supposed to use it for Christmas gifts exclusively, okay?
That's not true.
Don't answer her. When you use somebody else's money, don't interfere with them when they're telling the story.
I can tell you what it's for them when you're ready.
I don't care what it's for. Why are you using somebody else's money?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I want to see any text message that suggests that this credit card bill that you racked up on her credit card was in lieu of rent. Say nothing, show me the text. Say nothing, show me the text.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Michelle Garceau says the father of her child, Brian Buckley, and his girlfriend, Lisa Marrero, owe for charges they made on her credit card.
Now, when you use somebody else's money, don't interfere with them when they're telling the story.
I can tell you what it's for them when you're ready.
I don't care what it's for. Why are you using somebody else's money?
Why? Because she was staying with us. And that's what I'm saying. She said she was sick. She wasn't sick. She was having panic attacks from this incident that she claims didn't happen. So she lived with me for 2 months. This is what she gave us in lieu of rent.
Just a second. is what you're telling me, because you racked up on the credit card that she gave you over $5,000. And now you say she lived with you for 2 months. Is what you're telling me she couldn't have found another place to live for less than $2,500 a month?
That is correct. Nobody else would have her.
What? For less
Nobody
than
else would have her.
No, for less than $2,500 a month?
Yes.
You're outrageous.
I'm just telling you, that's what you asked, and it wasn't.
Who takes care of the 7-year-old?
We both do.
We both do.
Don't you work? Ever?
Yes, I do.
Just a second. How long have you been a couple?
2.5 years.
So Miss Marrero was working when you met?
No, she wasn't. She had just been injured about a few months prior.
And your daughter was then 5?
Yes.
Now she's 7?
Yes.
And you both took care of her?
Yes.
That's pretty active. What's the nature of the disability for which you get disability?
I permanently injured my back while nursing.
Your back? You drive a car? Do you have a driver's license?
I have a driver's license. Yes, I do. I do.
I'm just asking you questions. You have a driver's license?
I do.
Okay. Can I see the credit card bills?
It's December. This is the first bill showing all of their charges. All of them.
Okay. Now, what I'd like to see from you is you have what appear to be text messages there.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
I would like to see any text messages that you have that suggest to me that this $5,416 that you racked up on her credit card was in lieu of rent. Let me repeat again. I want to see any text message that you have from her that suggests that this credit card bill that you racked up on her credit card was, as Miss Marrero says, in lieu of rent. Say nothing, show me the text. Say nothing, show me the text.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I want to see any text message that you have from her that suggests that this credit card bill that you racked up on her credit card was, as Miss Marrero says, in lieu of rent. Say nothing, show me the text. Say nothing, show me the text.
I have no text.
You have a lot of things in front of you.
I absolutely do.
Show me one of those things that suggests that there was an agreement that that credit card was to be used in lieu of rent. Show me. Don't say anything. Hand it to Officer Bird.
I have nothing that says it was an agreement in lieu of rent. This whole thing was based off of a verbal agreement.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I believe that if somebody borrows money from you, they should pay it back.
She did live with us. She needed a place to go.
It's completely incorrect. They were just looking for an excuse to not pay the money that they owed.
She was not working, and so in order for...
I never lived with them, so I didn't need to pay rent. I paid my own rent.
To be compensated, she let us use the credit card in lieu of rent.
Other than that, I have nothing to say to the other defendant.
Find your own life.
Now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cheatham versus Shue. Step forward.
Veronica Cheatham is suing her landlord, Charlie Shue, for property damage and the cost of a hospital visit.
Ms. Cheatham, you were living in an apartment. The building was owned by Mr. Chu, is that correct?
Yes.
And that apartment that you were living in is an apartment that was subsidized by Section 8 housing?
Yes.
How long have you been living there?
A little over a year.
And where did you live prior to living in that apartment?
In a condo.
Was that also Section 8 housing?
Yes.
Where is it located?
In Anaheim.
How long did you live there?
About a year.
Why did you move?
The owner sold the property.
Prior to living there, where did you live?
On Lincoln for about 6 years.
And why did you move from there?
They no longer accepted Section 8 housing.
It is your claim that the apartment that you were in had many, many difficulties. And at one point, there was a leak in the roof that caused damage to your property.
Yes.
That Mr. Shue hired roofers to repair the roof, that the roofers did not do their due diligence, and they thought that there was an attic between the roof and your apartment. It turned out that there was not an attic, and there was further damage to your property.
Yes.
You want Mr. Shue to be responsible for that?
Yes.
When was the damage to your property?
The damage to my property started in October of 2017.
When did you move into the property?
July the 2nd. My lease officially started June the 12th, but I didn't officially move my belongings out of the storage until the 2nd of July.
And you had a one-year lease?
Yes.
So your lease was up in July of 2018?
Yes.
Why didn't you move?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You ask him, when will you be replacing my property? You list the property. Follow carefully what I'm saying to you. I'm not saying he's not responsible for the damaged property. I'm just saying that it's not time to refurnish your house.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ronica Cheatham says her landlord, Charlie Shue, is responsible for property damage and injuries to her daughter as the result of his negligence.
Okay, so your lease was up in July of 2018?
Yes.
Why didn't you move?
I was looking for a place that accept housing. I found a place and served him my notice to move.
When?
I served him last month.
When are you moving?
In the middle of next month, I'll be out.
Now, the roofing company who was hired by Mr. Shue.
Yes.
Did they give you any money for the damage that was caused to your apartment?
They gave me $100 for laundry. He said he felt sorry that I was not notified.
Don't give me what he said.
Yes.
What else?
That's it.
You have photographs of what was damaged?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at them. I can't tell what this is.
That's a box full of water from the rain before they started to replace the roofing.
Well, what was damaged of yours?
That is the Wii. Everything in the box is a Wii. It's a cell phone. It's a tablet. Photos.
Oh, I can't see this. This is...
It's more pictures that once I actually start taking the items out. It was an electric guitar, a piano.
When did this roof damage come in?
In January.
Mr. Shue, did you go to the residence in January?
I go there several times.
Oh, did you go there in January after the roof damage?
Her apartment, I don't remember.
No, he didn't.
Did you notify him?
Yes, I did, through text message. He told me to go out and communicate with them myself and let them know that the roof was coming in. However, they don't speak English, so we couldn't even communicate. I started fussing back with him, letting him know how bad it was and demanding he come see it himself. He told me no to reach out to them. They didn't actually get in communication and come in and help me until the third day after I started fussing with the owner of the company stating that the roof had came in on my daughter's head. That's when he told them to come to the door to give me something for laundry to try to take off a little ease off me from being angry.
I would like you to tell me why you didn't go over and see the damage.
Okay, Your Honor, here's the thing. Today we have a technology, right? We have a cell phone. We can use a text message. She sent me the pictures. So she notified me there's water leaks from the roof. I asked her, I have evidence here also. I asked her, what is the problem? What is the damage? She has a list here.
I'd like to see it.
Okay, no problem.
That's not truthful, Your Honor. When I first originally notified...
Exhibit, I call it, is it 9, 10, 11? I can show them.
Okay, so this is what you told him was damaged.
I'm not sure which one you're looking at because there was so many damages over a period of time.
Just a second. The only email about damage that I have, you may have others. And if you have others, I'm more than happy to look at them. But this is what he asked you. You said, when will you be replacing my property? And he said, what is it? I will take a look tomorrow. And you responded with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. A white Wii, a black tablet, a camera, a Paw Patrol piano. I don't know what that is.
It's a floor piano. It's with keys that they can, can dance on and they make noise and so forth.
It's for kids?
Yes.
Costs what, $49? Yeah.
Probably so.
A camera, what kind of camera?
It was a Samsung camera and a Samsung tablet.
Okay, you have receipts for those?
No, I don't, not anymore. They broke into my home. A lot of things were taken.
And a white Wii?
That's the one before the newest one came out. He has the newest one, but that's the one right before it. And we were battling over what it cost. At this point, I've only seen it for $169. He keeps finding different places every time he Googles.
So far, at most, you have $300 worth of damage that you told him about.
That was starting out with. No, it was more than that. That was just starting out.
No.
On that one email, it's more emails.
Just a second. As a result of the roof. From what? Just a second. Now I'll see any other emails that you have that are inconsistent with this email that you sent to him. Follow carefully what I'm saying to you. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's not responsible for the damaged property. I'm just saying that it's not time to refurnish your house.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, you have a bill for me for cleaning up the apartment?
No, he hasn't.
Did you pay it?
The roofing company is responsible
Just
for
a
everything.
second. She doesn't have to go after the roofing company, Mr. Shue. You have to go after the roofing company because you hired them.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Veronica Cheatham says her landlord, Charlie Shue, is responsible for property damage and injuries to her daughter as the result of his negligence.
Okay, let me see other emails that you sent to him, when they were, and with other property that you allege was damaged. Don't give me all that stuff. I don't want all that stuff. I want to see an email that you sent to him like you
we
did
dealt
here.
between email and text. It's right here
I
from
want
text.
To send
it's in text, and that's all the violations behind it that was wrote up from the damages.
No. I want to see the list, when it is, of what damages there were. I have a current list here, January, when there was damages to your house.
Yeah, the current list started off with him and the roofer, but once talking to legal advice, it said it's not on the roofer, it's all on him, and I forwarded it back to him.
Okay, so this doesn't give me a list. A list. When you sent him a list of what was damaged is what I need.
It was just over a period of time, different items. It wasn't just a grand list at one time.
Sorry,
it was every time something went out, I told him what it was through text.
It's not happening.
So
not
he
happening.
did just damage my property, and it's
no,
not
you're
happening.
going to get paid for what you told him was damaged.
I told him over a period of time, a lot of things through text. He never shows up. He don't come. He's always saying, I'm at a resort. I'm in China. I'm here. I'm there. I can't force him to come actually take a look. And, of course, things that you find discovered damage, you don't find in one day. Over time, when you go to it, you find out that stuff's been damaged. The whole entire roofing had to be replaced.
Did you replace the roofing?
Yes, I have.
But I was damaged through all of the replacement. He never informed me that the roof was going to be replaced. So I come home to chaos. The whole roof, debris all over my unit. And on top of that, I tell him, come see how bad it is. You see a picture, that's still not seeing the physical damage actually being there.
I want to explain something. He's not giving you $5,000.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I want to explain something. He's not giving you $5,000.
I mean, he's going to do something for the damage.
No, I have $300 so far. Now, you have a bill for me for cleaning up the apartment?
No, he has it. I forwarded it to him when he came.
Did he pay it?
No, he did not.
Did you pay it?
Okay, here's the thing.
No, not here's the thing. I don't want to here's the thing.
I didn't pay,
Did she?
But the roofing company is responsible
Just
for
a
everything.
second.
They pay.
No. She doesn't have to go after the roofing company, Mr. Shue. You have to go after the roofing company because you hired them. That's not her problem. Who did she hire to clean the apartment?
Okay. I gave it to you, the evidence. One page, it shows the roofer, they gave them $100 for cleaning, for the laundry. Okay.
Only.
Also, they sent 2 people helping clean the
third day help
room.
vacuum.
All I want you to do.
They did already.
No, they didn't.
All I want you.
You have not done anything. You're not doing due diligence. You put the blame on everybody instead of taking care of it.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $300. We're done. Bye.
Why is that excused? You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He is a slumlord, and my paperwork proves that.
So when they give me a notice, I always get a permit, hire somebody to fix it.
I hope this matter makes him do better as a landlord and start doing his due diligence, fixing the property repairs as they come.
It's time to move on.
The next case.
All parties in the matter of McNeil versus Vargas. Step forward.
Salon owner Douglas McNeil is suing his former client, Rebecca Vargas, for services rendered, lost wages, and defamation.
Mr. McNeil, you have a hairdressing salon.
I do.
And Miss Vargas was a client of yours.
Yes, ma'am, she was.
Do you remember when she first came into your salon?
It was around October the 14th of 2017.
And after October 14th of 2017, how many more times did she come to the salon?
She came periodically every 3 to 6 months for touch-ups.
And who did her touch-up?
I did.
So she came to you for approximately a year and some, so she came maybe 3 times, 3 to 6 months. So it would be
Yes, ma'am, around that.
How many times, Ms. Vargas, did you go to Mr. McNeil's salon?
I believe I went to his salon 4 or 5 times.
Great. The last time you went, you paid by credit card?
I did.
The previous times, did you have the same kind of service?
I honestly, now retrospectively, I'm not sure what he did each time, but the amount was different each time.
Are you telling me that you don't remember what service plaintiff? Do you have your hair colored?
See, I'm very new to having my hair colored in any way.
That's very easy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So he was taking out color that somebody had put in?
No, my own natural color.
He was taking out your natural color?
Yes.
Are you crazy? If somebody says to you they have to take out the natural color in your hair, you say, what?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Salon owner Douglas McNeil says his former client, Rebecca Vargas, reversed the charges for services he rendered. Rebecca's countersuing for misrepresentation and negligence.
Okay, either you brush your teeth in the morning or you don't. You wash your face in the morning, you take a shower.
Well,
you color your hair or you don't color your hair. You color your hair burnt, the answer is no. I color my hair. So the answer is either yes or no. So you color your hair. Did you have it colored from October of 2017 up until June of 2018 by anyone other than Mr. McNeil?
No. And just to have clarity on the color is I know he was removing color from my hair, which is called something else, and I'm still working with the terminology that they use in salons. So I'm sorry.
So he was taking out color that somebody had put in?
No, my own natural color.
He was taking out your natural color?
Yes.
Are you crazy?
That's what he said had to happen. He's the expert.
No, Miss Vargas.
Okay.
You don't look like an idiot.
Thank you.
If somebody says to you they have to take out the natural color in your hair, you say, what?
Well, he said to do what he needed to do, which was a technique called balayage or balayage, that was needed to...
Tell me what you wanted when you went to the salon. You go to a salon. You don't walk in there. You say, well, I'm going to go window shopping, see something's on sale.
True.
You make an appointment to go to a salon because you want a particular service.
Indeed.
Okay? And what service did you want when you went to Mr. McNeil's salon? And tell me your interpretation of what balayage means.
Absolutely. I looked at it as a contrast of something that I also saw that I was considering that was called ombre. Ombre is where you take the darker hair and then it fades into like a lighter color on the bottom, where balayage is a painting technique that mixes like the different tones in like a natural kind of way that doesn't fade from top to bottom, but more as a out to in, if that makes sense.
Oh, my God.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She's pretty much drugged my salon's name through she's put out bad reviews.
She's allowed to do that.
But it's not true, Your Honor.
But I don't know if it's true or not. It's part of the risk that you take of being on the internet.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Salon owner Douglas McNeil says his former client, Rebecca Vargas, reversed the charges for services he rendered. Rebecca's countersuing for misrepresentation and negligence.
Okay. So he charged you different amounts for the 4 times that you went.
Yes.
And the 5th time, what did he charge you?
$220.
And the last one for $220 was when?
That was on June 20th.
Did you reverse that charge?
No, I reversed a charge for $480 that was on my card from Douglas.
When was $480 put on your card?
That very evening.
I thought June 20th was $220.
Me too.
Is what you're saying it should have been $220, but he charged you $480?
Yes, and that's where the confusion lies, Your Honor.
Okay. So can I see your charge for $480?
Yes.
Thank you. Because that's what your lawsuit is. You said she reversed the charge, and that's what you're suing for.
Yes, ma'am.
And a whole lot of other nonsense.
Yeah.
I have a card for your PR Douglas. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am, that's me.
$480, June 20th. What for?
I did a balayage, a haircut, deep conditioning, and toning on her hair.
And did you at one point tell her that you had made a mistake by charging $480?
No, ma'am, because it originally was not my mistake. It was her mistake.
Just a second. How much was the service?
The service was $220.
But I have a $480 charge here.
Correct.
And the mistake was?
She entered $250 for the tip. I brought it to her attention at the end of the sale. I said, did you mean to pay me $480? She said
well,
no.
$220 and $250 is $470, not $480.
Because she added a $10 tip on there as well, Your Honor. But I refunded her the $250 that very same day, which left at $230.
Do you have something to show me that
I
you
sure
did
do.
that? May I see it, please?
May I bring this to the court's attention at this time?
Here you go, sir.
No. So the service was $220. She, by mistake, instead of a $25 tip,
she put in
$250 tip, which comes to the $480.
Yes.
Now I have total sale $480. On June 20th, the plaintiff refunded on your Amex $250, leaving what the charge was as $220.
No.
Did you ever, just answer my question, did you ever reverse the $220?
I never reversed $220.
I have proof that she reversed the $230.
Or $230.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
May I see it?
Did
you reverse $230?
Yes.
Then you owe him $220. Why did you reverse?
It looks that way, and I'm just ready for whenever you're ready for me.
I'm ready.
Okay.
You're going to have to show me.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're going
May
to
I
have
bring
to
this
show
to the
me that
attention
he
of the
got
court?
paid.
May I show this to the court right now?
Just a second.
Okay.
Did you pay him $220?
No.
Then you owe him $220.
I got the $230 back on my credit card October 7th.
So did you return it to him?
No, because
Then you owe him $220.
He served me to be in court.
Okay. Well, you owe him $220.
As it stands right now in this part of the story, yes, indeed.
That's the only story I'm interested in. I'm not interested in your nonsense of his gross negligence. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in anything else.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. She got her money back, but she didn't get it back until October. This happened in June.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a long time. June, July, August, September, October, which is when she was notified that she finally got her money back from American Express. You're owed your money.
Yes.
That's
also,
all.
Your Honor, she's pretty much drugged my salon's name through she's put out bad reviews.
She's allowed to do that. Just a second.
But it's not true, Your Honor.
But I don't know if it's true or not. She's allowed to do that. If you advertise on the internet and you're involved with social media, somebody can put in a review. It's part of the risk that you take of being on the internet.
Okay.
Part of the risk. $220. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
There's nothing honest about this person.
I love Judge Judy's decision. She hit the nail right on the head.
He's been doing all kinds of shady stuff.
This lady is very deceitful. She's a liar.
You have not been doing the right thing with your business.
And I'm going to warn any hairdresser out there, be warned of people like this.
I hope he learns a lesson and stop lying.
Have your guards up when you're starting your small businesses. Know who your clients are.
The mauling.
Her dog began attacking my dog. It's not true. Excuse me, I'm speaking. Thank you.
I don't want to hear you.
The emotion.
Her dog had my dog in the air and was violently shaking her. It was the most traumatic thing I've ever seen.
The warning signs.
Your dog has had a history of violent behavior, which mandated your dog to be muzzled at all times.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Shiloh Fry is suing fellow dog owner Evelyn Homsey for vet bills and medical bills and punitive damages for filing a false police report.
Order. All rise. It's case number 301 on the calendar in the matter of Fry versus Homsey.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat, please.
Ms. Fry, it is your claim that the defendant's dog injured both you and your dog. The defendant's response indicates that the incident was your fault. You didn't have control over your dog, and she's countersuing for harassment, claiming that after this incident, you did in fact harass her. Miss Holmesy, on the date of this incident, which was the 25th of July of this year, what were you doing in the animal control clinic?
I was taking my dog Roscoe for vaccination and renewing his license.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a boxer mix.
Did they do just vaccinations there, or is it a clinic?
No, they kicked me out of the clinic. They said that they're not going to help me at all because Miss Fry's dog bit my dog first.
No. You're getting into a whole story. I asked you a question.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
said, does the clinic also treat dogs, or does it just give vaccinations?
I was told they only give vaccinations.
And what were you doing there, Miss Fry?
I was also there getting my dog vaccinated as well.
And what kind of dog do you have?
I have a 15-pound puggle.
And how much does your dog weigh?
80 pounds.
Do you have a picture of both dogs? I'd
Yes,
like to
Your
see
Honor.
it.
These are the photos of the injuries to my dogs as well.
Is this your dog?
Yes, Your Honor.
It doesn't look like a boxer.
When I adopted him, I was told on his document he's a boxer mix.
Doesn't look like a boxer. I don't know what it looks like. It doesn't look like a boxer. To me, it has a long nose.
He's a mix. Boxer mix.
I know. I don't know where he's a boxer. Maybe on his left paw. Now, when you went into the clinic, was your dog on a leash?
She was. She had a harness, and a leash was secured to the harness. I had her very shortly on the leash because it's a very small facility.
Okay, that's my answer to my question.
Thank you.
Your dog was on a leash?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Holmesy, was your dog on a leash?
Yes, on a short leash, ma'am.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what happened?
I entered the room with my 3-year-old son and my dog. I approached the counter to my right. It's a very small facility, so when I approached to the right, there's a chair directly behind me, a wall directly on the right side of me, and then the employee helping me. As I was attempting to sign in, Miss Holmesy's dog approached me from the left side.
Was she already there when you were there?
She was standing on the left of the counter, yes, at the far end, about a little more than arm's length away from me.
Okay.
Her dog came up almost immediately. I didn't ever even sign in.
Not true.
Her dog came up behind me, forced its way between my legs, and began attacking my dog. I was knocked
Please state the
backward.
facts. It's not true.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. Thank you.
I don't want to hear you until I look at you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I fell backward. Her dog continued to pursue my dog, eventually catching her again, grabbing her by her back and her shoulder area. When I looked over, her dog had my dog in the air and was violently shaking her. It was the most traumatic thing I've ever seen. The only thing I could think was that my 3-year-old was watching. My dog stopped yelping at one point. I believed she was dead.
Fortunately, she was not.
She was not.
And you took her to the vet. That's what the case was about.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, Miss Holmesy, I read here that your dog has had a prior history of violent behavior, which mandated your dog to be muzzled at all times when out. Is that correct?
It's correct that he had a prior from
Just a
adopting.
second. So the answer is yes. He's supposed to be muzzled at all times when out.
Which he was, Your Honor.
Well, the operative word is operable muzzle. An operable muzzle would have prevented the injuries that I saw to her dog. So if the dog was muzzled, it wasn't muzzled operably. The muzzle didn't work. And if the muzzle didn't work, that's not the dog's fault. That's your fault. Now, the prior incident with your dog happened when?
When somebody else adopted
No.
him.
What year?
I don't know. I didn't have him when it happened.
So is what? You have it?
I have a copy of that incident report.
I'd like to see it. So what you're telling me, Miss Holmesy, is that you took this dog, you adopted this dog?
Yes, ma'am.
And you adopted a dog that you knew was required to be muzzled when out? I'm just trying to follow this. Is that what you're telling me? That's either a yes or a no.
No, Your Honor.
Is what you're telling me that you adopted a dog knowing that it had to be muzzled?
Can I explain, Your Honor?
Sure.
When I adopted this dog, they told me he didn't do well in a setting of family with 5 kids
Don't
and 3
tell me
dogs.
what they said. I want to know if you were aware of the fact.
I was not aware of that, Your Honor, when I adopted the dog.
Okay. Now, you adopted the dog when?
About 2.5 years ago.
I would like you to tell me under what circumstances you found out that the dog required a muzzle when out.
I just decided to put a muzzle on him because...
No, that's ridiculous. Don't give me that baloney.
No.
That's baloney.
I decided to keep him on a muzzle because
baloney.
I don't want anybody petting my dog.
That's baloney.
But that's the truth, Your Honor.
No, that's baloney. I'm 76 years old, and I've had probably 15 dogs in my lifetime. I never put a muzzle on my dog just in case.
Your Honor.
Because that's stupid.
I have insurance background. I've seen a lot of claims. And due to that and stories...
Ms. Holmesy, that is so ridiculous. Are you telling me that your dog was ordered to be muzzled? You didn't know that when you adopted him, and then later you just so happen to think, well, it's a good idea that I muzzle my dog. I just want to know if that's what you're asking this face to believe.
That's the truth, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's baloney. That's baloney, Ms. Holmesy.
Your Honor, it's the truth.
I didn't ask anything. Now I'm reading.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
That's baloney. Were you also bitten?
I was.
Or is this the prior?
That's
this
the
is
report
prior. This
from
is
when
March 23rd, 2017.
Right.
Oh, this is the prior incident.
Correct.
I see this was a prior incident, but it was a prior incident while you still own the dog.
Because the dog doesn't have that character, Your Honor.
Hey. I thought you told me that your dog had a prior incident before you adopted her. Well, this incident is dated March 23rd, 2017. I asked you when you adopted the dog. You said 2.5 years ago.
Exactly. I don't know about this incident. I haven't seen this paperwork. May I see it, please?
So
sure.
Another attack?
Sure you can.
Oh, okay. I remember this now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remember. Can I have it back, please?
Yeah.
Can I have
this
it back?
was a lady that assaulted my mom when my mom had the dog.
Don't tell me about a lady assaulted your mom. I asked you whether the dog had bitten before. You said the dog bit before, but before I adopted her. And then I just decided to put a muzzle on him because I just thought I used to be in insurance, and I thought it would be a good idea to put a muzzle on the dog. This happened after you adopted him. All right. Very good. You're going to pay all of her bills, and your counterclaim's going to be dismissed
she
for
harassed
harassment.
Me, came to my house.
I don't care.
Twice. She came to my house, Your Honor.
Whether she came to your house.
That's not right.
I don't care.
Her dog bit my dog first.
I don't
and then
care.
He
Listen
defended
to me.
it.
Listen to me. I don't care whether she came to your house to ask for money. Other
and
than
harassed
the fact
me? Throwing
are you interrupting me?
No, ma'am.
So far, you lied to me at least twice. You lied to me that the dog had no history once you adopted it. That was clearly a lie because the dog has bitten before. You lied to me when you said, well, I had no knowledge of that when I adopted the dog. I just decided to put a muzzle on my dog because, well, I'm in insurance and just because, for no reason. All those things were not truthful. And if you choose to have a dog that bites, you have to pay for it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're done.
That's not
Thank
right,
you.
Your Honor.
Thank
she
you,
came
Your Honor.
harassing me.
Counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Totally traumatic. I thought that my dog had been killed and that her dog was about to start tearing her apart in front of my 3-year-old's eyes.
I hope that this will never happen to another person.
If you've ever been involved in a dog attack, it's the most powerless feeling.
And that she will cage her animal because he's little.
I just didn't feel like there was anything I could do.
And she needs to protect. She's the mama.
I am beyond thrilled. Justice has happened here today.
I'm just glad that all the dogs are okay.
I'm glad everybody's okay, and thank you to Judge Judy.
Case 2111, Banks versus Mitchell. All parties, please step forward.
Queen Vanessa Banks is suing her former friend, Fulton Mitchell, for an unpaid loan and stolen money.
Miss Banks, what kind of work do you do?
I'm a city contractor for the city and county of San Francisco.
How long have you been working for the city of San Francisco?
30 years.
You a full-time employee?
No, I'm a contractor, so I'm used as needed.
Well, in the last month, how many days have you worked?
Like around 40 hours the whole month.
How do you support yourself?
I'm on disability.
How long have you been on disability?
Since roughly like around February of 2022.
When you applied for disability, were you originally rejected or did they accept your claim?
I was rejected 3 times, actually.
So when you started collecting in February of 2022, you got a big check for back disability.
Yes, ma'am.
I know my business. How much of a check did you get?
I got $7,000 the first time, and they just submitted me like $8,000 a month or two ago, and then there are some more coming. It ain't all came yet.
Mm-hmm. They advised you, because you were rejected, as you said, 2 or 3 times, that there would be a total amount coming to you. You got a letter from the administration.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And what is the total amount that they told you you would be receiving in increments?
I think it was like $18,000.
And you had a lawyer at the appeal.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you applied for disability, did you say that there was no kind of work that you could do? I'm jaundiced. I know that people put money in somebody else's bank when they want to hide it from the government, creditors, a spouse looking for support, all what I would call nefarious reasons to put money in somebody else's bank.
Queen Vanessa Banks claims her former friend, Fulton Mitchell, stole money from their shared bank account.
Now, when you applied for disability, did you say that there was no kind of work that you could do?
Well, actually...
No, not actually. They're giving you $18,000. They said that they should have taken your case when you first applied for disability. So they had to have found that you could not hold gainful employment. That's what it's all about when you get federal disability.
Right.
Right. So I want to know what this 40 hours a month that you worked last month as an independent contractor. What kind of independent contractor were you?
I actually sit on Zooms, and I am a consultant, so I'm on Zooms most of the time.
And when you're not on Zooms, where are you?
At home.
What do you consult about?
I am an urban consultant, so I work with various people that's trying to find out about urban living and mental health, basically working around mental health.
How are you paid?
They might mail a
No,
check.
not might.
They mail a check.
What do you do with that check?
I usually cash it at a store in the community.
You cash it. What is your hourly wage?
As a consultant?
Yeah.
I'm usually paid like $130 an hour.
And what's the amount of money you get from disability a month, not counting these extra payments for when they denied you disability?
$1,000.
So you get $1,000 a month plus $130 an hour times the last month you said was 40 hours. So you make $4,000 or $5,000 a month from your consulting job for the city.
No way.
Well, am I correct, Whitney, that Ms. Banks said that she worked about 40 hours last month?
Can I explain something? Not
No.
all.
No.
She said around 40 hours the whole month.
Okay. Would you tell me what she says she earns an hour?
It's usually $130 an hour.
$5,200. And when you get the checks for these consulting things, you take them and you cash them. That's either a yes or a no. Do you work as a sole independent contractor, or do you have an LLC or a corporation?
No, ma'am.
So the checks are made out to you?
Yes, ma'am.
As an independent contractor?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to pay your own taxes, so you're 1099 from all these people?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you declare on your taxes last year?
I didn't file taxes last year, ma'am.
Why not? You said you've been working in this capacity on and off for 30 years.
Because,
for the
ma'am,
city.
where I come from, a lot of the work is volunteer work considered, and you are given a stipend. And some of the work I do, sometimes I don't even get paid, but I still do the work.
Listen, you know exactly where I'm going. We're two savvy people. When you cash those checks, because this is what the case is about, for some reason, because I'm trying to figure out why somebody puts money into somebody else's bank account, because part of this case is about that. You and Mr. Mitchell became friends, maybe a little bit more than friends, I don't know. At some point, according to you, you gave him money to hold in his bank account because his bank account was closer to where you are and you didn't want to go on 2 buses to where your bank was. Am I getting that right? Is that what you...
No, ma'am.
Let's see. I'm telling you why I made these inquiries to you. I was struggling to find a way to get access to my money. I always took the bus to the bank, but during COVID, public transportation shut down. It was completely unreliable, and I was in a bind. This is what you write. When Fulton heard about my problem, he offered to hold my money for me in his bank. He said that he didn't keep any money in that account, so it would be perfect, because his bank was right where I worked. I only know of several reasons why strangers put money in somebody else's account. You know, I may have an account with Sarah. I may have an account with one of my other grandchildren. I have an account with my husband. But I've had a best friend for 70 years, and another best friend for 30 years. And I would never think of putting money in their bank account because there are banks all over the place. I'm just telling you, you know, I'm jaundiced. I know that people put money in somebody else's bank when they want to hide it, when they want to hide it from the government, creditors, a spouse looking for support, a spouse looking for alimony, a contractor who has a judgment against them. All what I would call nefarious reasons to put money in somebody else's bank. But let us say that you did put money in this bank account, and you say that money was withdrawn. Your money was withdrawn from that account to pay his taxes. Is that what you're alleging?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How much was withdrawn from his account that only his name was on? Or was your name on it too?
My name is on it too.
Oh, there we go. Now I can understand it, why you might owe taxes. I don't know anything about his business, but I can certainly understand that you might. Did you receive notice that the IRS took money out of this bank account, which was then a joint bank account?
No, I did not.
So if her name was on it, it was a joint account.
It was not. It was my account, and I added her name to my account.
Okay. That makes it a joint account.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't have that information in here because joint account is absolutely different. Joint account means that the money belongs to both of you. Now, what makes you think that the money that was taken out of the account was to pay his taxes?
Because I have proof, Your
I'd
Honor.
like to see it. What account is this? Whose money is that?
Mine.
Explain that to me. This is a deposit here for $988.68. What is that?
That's when the pandemic hit and the struggle started getting hard trying to get money, and being that me and him was business partners, that's when he decided to try to help me out.
You know, I neither have the time or the interest to hear about the nuances of this stuff because I don't have the wherewithal, either emotionally or structurally, to figure out the whole scam. I haven't figured it all out yet, but I'm beginning to figure it out. So you deposited $988 and then withdrew at some point in May. That was on June 9th. I don't have the rest of it here, but you withdrew $1,600 from that account on May 25th. Do you remember what that was for?
May 25th?
Yeah, May 25th, $1,600. June 3rd, tax levy, $2,711.
The May 25th is because that's my daughter's birthday, and I spent time with my daughter. And then the June 3rd tax levy is why I'm here with you today.
What kind of business were you in together with the defendant?
You want me to answer that?
No, you answer it. What
type of business were you together? He works for the city and county. I'm a grassroots organizer, so I work within his organization so that we can do things together.
That's not true.
Your Honor, I have proof. I do work with his organization. I'm putting on a Halloween event.
I don't care.
His logo
Let's understand each other. I don't care because something doesn't smell right for me. And if something doesn't smell right with this nose, it's usually accurate. Usually. You said you took out $1,000. When and for what purpose?
I took out the $1,000 and I gave it to Ms. Banks.
That's not what you said.
What did I say, Ms. Banks?
It's not what you said. It's not what you swore to.
Queen Vanessa Banks is suing her former friend, Fulton Mitchell, for an unpaid loan and stolen money.
When someone puts money in somebody else's bank account, it's because they're trying to somehow shield that money from some sort of scrutiny. If your only source of income, which you would like me to believe, is this $1,000 from disability and the $18,000 that you're going to get for retroactive disability.
She was on some other kind of services also. I don't know whether it was SSI or something. When she first came to me, she wanted me to hold the money and put it in my account because she didn't want it to mess up her money.
That's not true. That's not true, Your Honor. He started helping me in 2019. In 2020, he asked me for a loan to help one of his daughters of $1,900. We were both trying to start up a business. We didn't know the pandemic was going to come, Your Honor. We was trying to start up a business.
I've never tried to start up a business.
Just a second.
Your Honor, I got proof because he lying to you.
Just a second. I don't care that you were starting a business. It doesn't make any difference to me. It really doesn't make any difference to me. You had a joint account, and the IRS took money out of that joint account. Was that your tax debt?
I don't know.
The answer is you don't know. Okay, well, this says that it was the levy from California Franchise Tax Board was against Fulton W. Mitchell.
That's me.
That's what it's...
I asked her to show me that. I said, prove it to me. No, she never showed me that ever.
Okay, so my question to you is, sir, because of course you have to pay your own taxes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? You would acknowledge that this bank account had only her funds in it?
No, I had my funds in there too.
Show me any deposits that you made into this account.
Well, I had money in there way before I put her money into my account. It's been my account for over 10, 15 years.
What I want to see, Mr. Fulton,
yes,
is any place where you deposited $27.11 because that's what they took out.
No, I didn't deposit $27.11 into that account.
Ever?
No.
Okay, good. This responsibility is yours. You would acknowledge that it's yours?
Yes.
Okay, so that's $2,700, which you in fact owe her. She probably owes IRS or the state of California more money because I'm not sure that they know where all this money is going. Did you take any other money out of that account?
No, ma'am.
Yes, you did. You took out $1,000. You acknowledge you took out $1,000 by accident, you said, sir, and you said you paid it back.
She got it back.
Okay, well,
That's
then
not
don't
true,
say,
Your Honor.
shh, don't speak. Got into enough trouble, right, so far. You said you took out $1,000. When and for what purpose?
I took out the $1,000 and I gave it to Ms. Banks.
That's not what you said.
What did I say, Ms. Judy?
It's not what you said. It's not what you swore to. You said, there was a time when I accidentally withdrew $1,000 from the account that belonged to Vanessa, but I paid her back in June 2022.
There you go.
I said, what do you mean, there you go? I said, when did you take money out of her account?
That was the only time I took the money out.
Well, tell me about it.
Vanessa started harassing me. She started showing up to my job and just doing all kind of stuff, so I was just trying to get rid of her.
And?
So I took the money out and gave it to her, and I'm...
Just a second. Put your hand down. Don't you understand what you signed?
Yeah.
You said I accidentally took money out of her account, but then I gave it back to her, because if you accidentally took it out, it means it didn't belong to you. When did you accidentally take it out, and when did you give it back to her?
I took out the money, and the money was given to her. That was it. That was it. I was done with it.
Well,
I was done with her. I was done with all of it.
There was a time when I accidentally withdrew $1,000 from the account that belonged to Vanessa, but I paid that back in June 2022.
Those words are mixed up a little bit there.
That's what I read. That's your answer, sir. As for the rest of the money she claims I owe her, it's all a bunch of lies. I never took a $1,900 loan and don't owe money for the IRS. Well, you do owe money for the IRS, because one of the things I think that everybody has to pay is their own tax levy and their own child support. You would acknowledge that.
I agree.
Okay, tell me about this loan of $1,900, Ms. Banks.
Mr. Mitchell had fell into a lot of hardship in the pandemic, and he came to me and asked me, could I loan him $1,900 to help out one of his daughters? And I gave it to him, and he agreed to pay it back, and we was just like trying to handle business together. And I thought he was a friend.
Show me proof that you gave him $1,900.
It was cash, Your Honor. The $1,000 he's saying he handed me back in June, that was from the $1,900.
I'm not following you, madam. Are you saying that he in total owed you, forget the IRS, $2,900, $1,000 that he took in 19?
He asked for $1,900
Never asked
cash.
me for $1,900.
I gave him $1,900 in cash.
Not true.
Then he paid me back $1,000 in June of 2022.
You have money in my account. Why would I ask you for $1,900? I would just go in there and grab it. That makes no sense.
Just a second. Why are you talking to her?
I'm sorry.
Where do you think you are?
I'm sorry. I apologize. She's never given me no $1,900. She's never given me anything in cash, period, ever.
I have proof.
I'm willing to look at it.
Yes. I told him that I needed to move forward with it, and if he don't give me what I need, I'll put it in writing. So
well, you may put it in writing. Well, you sent this to him, and it says acknowledgement of monetary debt. in the amount of $4,600. You typed this up, and he never signed it.
No, he never signed it.
Yeah. Well, then it's meaningless. You can type up anything. I can type up something that says I own all of Sarah's real estate. If she doesn't sign it, I don't own anything.
Well, that's where $1,000 came from, because he was trying to cover that.
Yeah. You know, somehow I think I'm dealing with, I'm not sure about one or two people who've managed to master the system. And
no, not at all.
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is if somebody is working
5 years.
Just a second. Hey, just a second. There's a reason why she asked to be added to your bank account. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't look as if you're a foolish man. What was the reason she gave you for wanting to have a bank account where you were the primary on that bank account? What was the reason she gave you?
She gave me the reason that she didn't want it to mess up her income.
That's not true.
Just a second. So she said, I don't want it to
She said she didn't want to put it in her name because she didn't want to mess up her income that she had coming in.
Her income from what?
Some kind of assistance. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Whatever. Anyway, got a nice windfall, $18,000. By the way, I have one other question for you. In your complaint, which you read and signed and swore to, Fulton heard about my problems with money and where to put it, and he offered to hold my money in his account. He said he doesn't keep any money in there, so it would be perfect, because his bank was right where I worked. Where was his bank, and where do you work?
I work in the community that I was born and raised in, which is Bayview.
Okay, I'm not going to get a straight answer. You owe her for her tax debt, nothing else, $2,700.
This court is adjourned.
That's it, you're done.
I'll watch her like every day.
It was fair.
I'm thankful that she saw what it was for what it was.
You know, she asked me to put some money in the account for her. I did.
I never had to harass him. We were business partners for 2 or 3 years.
I don't know if it was a business agreement or not.
Because I told him I want my money.
I'm just happy it's over with.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking that I wouldn't have had that information about Social Security disability unless Poppy was an administrative law judge with Social Security 40 years ago. And I remember exactly what the drill was. File, you rejected, you file, you rejected, and finally you have to hire a lawyer, and the lawyer gets a big chunk of the relief, and you get all your back payments. So I have a feeling I was dealing with two people who had a substantial skill set in how to negotiate and suck every dollar from the system, whether it was deserved or not.
Won't get one over on us.
No.
Case 2090, Oquendo versus Villarreal. All parties, please step forward.
Amber Oquendo is suing her former tenant, Nancy Villarreal, for unpaid rent.
Ms. Oquendo, you own a home.
Yes.
How large is the home?
It's 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and approximately 1,700 square feet.
When did you purchase the home?
2018.
Can I ask you what the cost was?
$225,000.
And you live there in the house, just you, with whom?
I don't live in that house. That's my rental.
You bought it as a rental? Somebody was playing their music loud. It was a problem for you.
Yes.
You asked them to be quiet.
Yes,
you
Your
told her it was a problem.
Yes.
And then there was some sort of a kerfuffle. I don't know what happened. You want to tell me?
Amber Oquendo claims her former tenant, Nancy Villarreal, owes for unpaid rent. Nancy is countersuing for her security deposit.
Now, you bought it as a rental? You bought it as a business?
Originally, I purchased it and I lived in one room. My kids shared a room and I rented 2 rooms until I was able to establish basically a history of being a landlord. And I then purchased another home and I live in my own residence, and that one is fully a rental as of now.
And also a resident of that home are your parents?
Yes, they are in the master.
And you have another tenant there?
Yes, there are a few other tenants.
Tell me who.
So I have one tenant who has asked not to be identified by name, but he is in one room that I have marked as room number 2. And then I have another tenant who's in room number 3. And then Nancy was in room 4, and there's now a new tenant in that room.
Okay, this is what it's about. The defendant was a tenant of yours. It didn't work out. And it was a short tenancy. I think it lasted no more than a month.
Yeah, right.
Is that right? June of this year?
Yes, Your Honor.
It didn't work out. She left. It is your claim that she left owing you a month's rent. And I assume from your paperwork that the month's rent was $774.
So it was $650, and then the $774, the remaining difference was just for being served and then court costs. But month rent was $650.
$650. And when the defendant moved in the beginning of June, did she sign a lease?
Yes, and I'm just going to correct you. Sorry, she moved in May 7th, so just wanted to correct that. But yes, she did sign a lease.
May I see it, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have a copy of your lease, Ms. Villarreal?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. So it's a month-to-month tenancy. It's an at-will with 30 days written notice. Okay. According to the lease, there was a security deposit of $650.
Yes, ma'am.
Did the defendant pay that when she moved in?
Yes, she did.
Okay, because that's your counterclaim. You say you want your security deposit back.
Yes, ma'am.
I assume from reading both of your complaint and answer that this turned out to be not a happy tenancy. You don't live there on a full-time basis. The defendant did live there for a short period of time. You moved in, rented a room, and you gave her $650, and you moved in on May 7th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct. And you moved out on what date?
I moved out on July the 10th.
So you were there for 2 months?
No, I was there for 1 month.
May to June, June, July. May 7th.
I moved in I believe it was June because I moved out July the 7th.
Our lease was signed on May 7th, so I know that.
Yes, the term of the lease is beginning May 7th. That's the term of the lease, according to this. So I don't care when you moved in.
Okay.
The term of the lease was May 7th on a month-to-month basis. So you were there from May 7th to July 10th. So you were there for 2 months.
Okay.
We're going to get into the whys, wherefores in a moment, but did you pay the month of May?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you pay the month of
Yes,
May?
ma'am.
Good. Did you pay the month of June?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And you lived there until July 7th?
No, I actually lived there until...
You just told me July 10th, as a matter of fact. Whitney's going to tell me what date you gave as your move-out date. You said it was July 10th.
She said, I moved out on July the 10th.
Okay, July, and it was, yes. July
So you
10th.
were there for 2 months?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. If you were there for 2 months and you only paid 1 month's rent?
Yes.
So far, you owe her 1 month's rent. Did you return her security deposit?
Yes.
Did you receive your security deposit?
Yes, Your Honor.
How much?
$650.
Okay, so you have no counterclaim. The counterclaim is for your security deposit. The rest of it is nonsense. You moved out, you wanted to pay your moving costs, your hotel fees, and everything else. That's ridiculous. Okay. So if you've received your security deposit now, what you owe her is a month's rent, which is $650. And I know you're dying to tell me that there was noise there, that you couldn't live there, that it was terrible. Well, that's what happens when you live in a place with a whole bunch of other people. Did you look at this room before you moved in?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay, so you went to the house. When you went to see the house, Amber was there. She introduced herself as the landlord. That's what it says here.
Yes.
And she let you know that she wasn't in the house, that her parents were in the house as tenants, but she wasn't in the house.
Yes.
And you moved in and somebody was making noise. Somebody was playing their music loud. It was a problem for you.
Yes.
You asked them to be quiet.
Yes,
you
Your
told her it was a problem.
Yes.
And then there was some sort of a kerfuffle. I don't know what happened. You want to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor. I am a federal employee, Your Honor. And when I signed this lease back in May, it states there, and I'm also in recovery, Your Honor, and it states very clearly in the lease that there is absolutely no smoking on the premises or no drugs on the premises, Your Honor. There was absolutely marijuana being smoked in the house. And right after I brought that to her attention, I then received a 30-day termination notice.
Okay.
Because I absolutely could not live in that house anymore with my job. I felt it was not a safe place for me.
Where did you go? Just a second. Is that your son?
This is my son.
Okay. Does he live in the area? I know you called him and he came and helped you move.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Who does he live with?
My son? He rents a room with roommates.
So he has roommates?
Yes.
Tell me where you went when you left. You didn't get a 3-day notice to quit. You got a 30-day notice from her that she was not renewing the lease pursuant to this.
Right.
You chose to leave in 3 days.
Absolutely.
That was your choice.
Because
you had 30 days to stay, and you had a month-to-month tenancy. Okay? You chose to leave. So where did you go?
I got a U-Haul. I didn't really have a place at the time to go, but my boy's grandmother offered her place to me. So I stayed there for a couple weeks. She said, you pay $180. I'll let you stay here for a couple weeks until I was able to find another place, Your Honor.
And then you did?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Great. Okay. So your security deposit you have, and she doesn't have her month's rent, which is $650. Are we done here? Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $650. We're finished. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I am not aware of anyone using marijuana in my house.
There was marijuana being smoked in the house.
My dad says that he's not smelling it, so I guess I can't really attest to the legitimacy of that.
It was not a safe place for me to be.
You know, some people don't realize, Sarah, that if you leave a premises that you have lived in, it's like going to a restaurant and ordering a steak and then delivering the steak, you're taking a bite and say, you know, I really don't like that steak, and finishing it, and then telling the waiter you're not going to pay for the steak. I always say you ate the steak. If you're a tenant and you find the living conditions such that, you know, you find it untenable to live there, you have a prerogative of changing your residence, but you don't live there for 2 months and only pay for 1, and then make excuses because you ate the steak.
Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đang đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu cho bức tranh về một bé trai đang đội mũ bảo hiểm đi xe đạp nhé. Chúng ta cùng bắt đầu thôi nào. Áo mình sẽ tô màu cam.
Sao chiều nay chúng mày đừng vậy?
Gì?
Sao chiều nay chúng mày đừng?
Biết là một tuần, nếu mà một tuần bọn em có 2 tiết học, kiểu là buổi chiều nhá. Buổi chiều mà có 2 ngày học 4 tiết thì mình nghỉ thành 12 ngày.
Dạ, thì bọn mày có 2 ngày học 4 tiết à?
Nếu mà bình thường thì toàn là 1 ngày học 3 tiết luôn. Nhưng mà tự nhiên tuần này lại đổ sang là 1 ngày học 4 tiết thì bọn em nghỉ 2 ngày.
Nghỉ 2 buổi chiều á? Chiều thứ mấy với chiều thứ mấy?
Hôm nay thứ 7.
Cho quần.
And now the next case.
All parties in the